Thank God he watched football yesterday because he almost forgot to end hate. Adam Carolla.
Yeah, get it on. Got to get it on the church. Yeah. Skinny Jodi Miller here. She's going to do the news. I don't know if I always got dates. I always got special, stand-up special. Decades in the making. Very good special. I saw it taped live. And Ben Bailey's got a special out, too. Please tell me
look at that.
what I said.
Dropping specials. Yeah, please tell me what I said.
It's available on YouTube, right? And other platforms as well. And, of course, people know you most from Cash Cab for 15 or 16 years. Yeah. How many seasons?
16 seasons from 2005 to 2020.
Great show.
A lot of seasons. But sort of like in the shadow of, like we were fringe. So it's
but
is Cash Cab your thing or you were gun for hire?
No, I was gun for hire. I auditioned. It started in the UK. It's kind of funny because I've 2 different times now I've had a person, like a wacko on the road, come up to me and be like, where's my money for Cash Cab? We came up with it together,
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, I know that we didn't come up with it together.
Yeah.
And they're like, how do you know? And I'm like, it wasn't my idea.
Right.
Wow.
So, but everybody, people think that it was, but it was not.
Have you seen the
I had
Cash
been a limo driver and a comedian.
Oh.
So it just sort of fit the bill.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't just give it to me based on that.
Can I ask
I never
you
had an
this?
audition go better. Like, it just, everything.
one of those things where you're like,
it all just falls in place.
Normally, though, have you ever had an audition, though, where they're like, that was so good, what's your availability next week? And you're just like, this is it. And you walk out and you never hear from them again.
Yeah.
You're like,
exactly,
all auditions that go...
Most of them, right?
Auditions that go bad are like dates that don't go well, or people that have really shitty jobs. And I'll tie this whole thing together, which is to say, if you say to somebody, like you're somewhere in some setting, in a party or whatever, friend's house, and you go, what do you do? And they go, oh, I work at a sewage rendering plant. You'll go, oh, cool, yeah, okay, good perk, lots of good benefits, right? Am I right? Like you'll go hard to try to make it good,
Sound good.
And the people go like, I'm driving for Uber right now. Hey, freedom, man, make your own schedule. They don't. You go because someone just goes, I'm an orthodontist. You go, wow, man, that's interesting work, or I could never do that, or something. But you don't go like, oh, hey, and there's a compensation. And when people, I've been on the other side of the table, like auditioning the woman who's supposed to play my wife in a sitcom. And when someone comes in there and shits the bed, everyone's like, okay. But when they're done, they're like, fantastic.
Yeah,
we have
every
your,
single
we
one.
have
right?
your
You
number,
were great.
right? We got your number,
You've never
right?
been misleading about it. You're definitely not the guy that bullshits people.
I'm not, but everyone else is full of shit, and they go hard, and like you've done a bad date where it's like when you're getting dropped off, you're never going to see this fucker ever again, and you'll paint something on just to go,
okay, no, that can't be true because I have had dates, and we've been making out by the car, and he's like, what are you doing Tuesday? I want to see you Tuesday, and then I never hear from him again. That was a good date.
I'm saying, don't get defensive. Don't get defensive. I'm just saying when people know they're never going to see someone ever again, sometimes they gussy it up. That's all.
Right, and you sweeten it up for them.
Do you do that?
Right, like when you're saying paint it on, right? You're just like, here's my job, and you're like, you put a nice spin on it just for that moment, so you guys can get through that awkward little moment better.
People do that with when they find out your kid's going to junior college. They go, "Oh, smart man! $8 a unit,
great.
$8 they can transfer.
Here's all the positives about that.
You can transfer. Yeah, they go hard and they're thinking loser, dumb loser, but they go hard and they gussy it up. People do that all the time. It's a kind of a form of what you do with like retarded people, you know, where they go like, I got foiled. You go, oh, look at the foil.
I was doing an interview in the UK, a morning radio, BBC radio thing, and I made a comment about, I was talking about like, do you love your job? What's a good job? And I said something. I didn't say like what a horrible job it is to be a garbage man.
Right.
Or a trash collector or whatever.
Right.
But I kind of, and people, a lot of people called in right then and said, oh, well, I'm a garbage collector and I love my job, and I'm like, I know, I wasn't. I hope you do. You
You got to punch up.
Yeah, but what did you say though exactly?
I don't remember specifically. It was like some old bit.
It was like
an old bit,
and it was just like it was the bad job in the bit. I just needed to have a bad job.
You need an example of a bad job.
Yeah, and I like people all up in arms about it. And I'm like, well, what job? Finally, I said, well, you fill in it. Tell me what job I could use then.
Yeah,
I was like, then I can't do the joke if I can't come up with a job that's rare enough that not that many people are going to be pissed that I mention it.
The job, well, maybe sewage rendering plant or something.
Yeah, that's what made me think of it. I think that's the perfect.
I actually, if somebody told me they worked for that, I would have to know more about that. Like, what does your day look like? What does your daily day look like?
Okay. So the thing about punching up versus punching down, lawyers who make $1,000 an hour, billable hours, are the ones we always call scumbags and losers and leeches and stuff like that. You can sit, you could share a cab, possibly even a cash cab with a lawyer, and that guy could jump in the back and he'd go, "What do you do?" And he'd go, "I'm a lawyer," and you go, "Ugh. I fucking hate lawyers." And you go, "You know you do." And we hate them too. Like they're the only job where they go. Like nobody does that. Like no one goes, "I'm a beekeeper." Oh, fuck those douches. Fuck those douches. Fuck those fucking. They're barnacles on the ass of society. Fucking keepers of bees.
But
You makers. Oh, look at me. I make honey. La-di-da. And by the way, the beekeeper would go, "Yeah, fuck beekeepers." Okay. Lawyers, you call lawyers fucking vermin and scumbags, and they just laugh.
Well, they don't want to be lawyers either.
Personal injury in front of the lawyer. Then
those are the best.
That's a whole nother level,
you went
right?
from rapist to pedophile.
Really
with
quick.
You just add personal injury.
I just have a bit about how they're advertised on the side of the road
in front of
like
them.
you actually crash, and then the billboard is right there.
Sweet James. Sweet James is right there. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm trying to catch their attention somewhere, but I'm looking for my menu here that doesn't appear to be on my thing. We were talking about protocol before that.
Yeah, protocol.
Yeah, let's circle back to that. Yeah. All right. This thing's missing.
But those guys win money for people. That's the argument. I'm not saying that I agree with that argument, but like
it's all wrong.
People who get injured get compensated because those guys are right there.
Right there. Probably,
But like it's gone so far beyond that it's,
I don't know why they have to have names like Sweet James.
Yeah, you're right.
Why? Like, what would yours?
Sweet James is the name of like.
What's your personal injury lawyer name?
Personal injury lawyer name. I want to know right now.
We come up with a formula for it.
Yeah, we need it.
Mark
First grade teacher.
Garagos.
What?
I've never talked to a personal injury lawyer because I've never had a personal injury.
If you were a personal injury lawyer, like the guy James is obviously Sweet
Right, like
James.
your porn star name or your...
I like Moishe Goldstein. Like I want as Jewy a name as I can find. Sweet James sounds like he plays jazz saxophone in New Orleans, Yeah, it's gotten you $1 billion for you. It's sad. Look, there's certain indicators in life. I'm trying to explain to people about the indicators.
Okay,
because you can look at graphs and charts and data, but there's just sort of indicators. Like in Los Angeles, you go into the pharmacy or the Rite Aid and everything's locked up in a cage. Like I'm talking to Dr. Drew on the way in today, and he's like, "I'm at a CVS and I'm pushing the help button because all the shit's in the cage and no one's coming to help me, and I have to sit here and push this button because it's in a cage." And I like. That is a very bad sign for our society that we have to take NyQuil and chapstick and cartridges for razors and lock them in a cage.
Yeah.
I told everyone the first time I saw the barbed wire around the freeway signs, Los Angeles need to stop and go, what the fuck is going on in this city that we feel the necessity to put razor wire around our freeway signs?
Well, that's about graffiti, right?
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
What about...
But something's wrong with your society, and when every third commercial is for a personal injury attorney and every second billboard one, you have to stop and go, something has gone amiss here.
Do you know the buildings that were started but never completed
In downtown LA?
Yeah, that then got tagged like literally
Yes.
every floor,
I have no idea of what you speak.
It's happened. There's a Chinese company who's building these 3 big towers. They ran out of money. They just bailed and disappeared. And then
Yeah, I've seen them. They're downtown.
word got out, and then it's pretty
Yeah.
fairly recently, and so they're just
They tag
completely covered.
Right.
Now it's going to cost the city $5.3 million.
Yes.
Because they don't prosecute for graffiti.
Well,
They stopped prosecuting for graffiti, and the graffiti artists know that.
Yeah.
So they're like, woo! They're like, after a couple of weeks, the buildings are empty. Let's hit every floor.
And what they're gonna
So I'm agreeing with you 100%.
they're gonna paint them and
Something's
they're gonna
gone
go
awry.
right back.
Like they're,
Yes.
you can't let that happen because
No.
now that's $5 million of city money, and LA needs all the money they can get to try to get ready for the Olympics. Which is
Right.
which is like, oh my God, the Olympics are coming here in
Forgot
less than
they're
4
coming
years,
here.
3.5 years.
They're coming here, guys. Oh, there it is.
Traffic's
That's
pretty bad without the 11 million or whatever it is.
I have to say though, that's a look. You could
It
just
is
keep
a look.
You could
It's
be like,
almost like,
it's kind
let's
of like
just
all
use it as a
artists-
like a movie set.
or artists. All artists live there. It's an artist compound.
Yeah.
oh God, douchebag central. Listen,
They just, I mean,
you got to leave one unit alone when you clean everything off.
just one.
Just one.
Keep one. Which one would you keep?
I don't know.
Rain?
I'd take a vote on it, but I would say
Yeah, vote
pick
on it.
one
Pick one.
as a little homage. You know, like sometimes when they remodel a bank and they turn it
Yeah.
into a coffee
Yeah.
house or something.
Yeah,
but they
give it a
left the
little-
vault. They
Leave
left the vault.
Yeah, it's always the vault because
It's
that's
always
so
the
cool.
vault. It's too heavy.
I wonder if there's
Can't move that
stuff
shit.
inside.
Oh, I'd really love to see.
Can I
There's
say
gotta be
this?
squatters. Yeah, there's squatters inside. There have to be.
According to
don't know if-
movies, in every movie I've ever seen in my life, nothing good happens in a vault. Somebody either gets locked in,
Yeah,
or
I
there's a
guess.
heist,
There's something.
or somebody wants to know the combination with the pistol.
in.
You know,
Right.
there's nothing. You
There's
see a
nothing
vault,
good
some
hidden in
shit's,
there either,
some
yeah.
shit's happening.
It's not like a romantic dinner inside the vault.
No one ever goes, you see that movie? Yeah, what happened? They went to the vault, they got their stuff in a timely fashion, and then they left,
Oh,
and
like
it was
that,
fine.
yeah.
No, it's always something.
They found the puppy. The puppy was
Yes.
in the vault.
The puppy was in the
there the
vault.
whole time.
Yeah, the whole
and
time.
alive.
There's something cool about like an old vault.
I like
though.
the
Oh, I love
notion
an
of a
old vault.
vault.
Yeah, like
In a
one of
house.
the banks in my hometown. I was like, they got a, they don't use it anymore, but it's just got the big door.
You used to walk in
Makes
there.
me want to
yeah.
film something.
I used to go in there with my
I want to
mom.
shoot a movie in there.
With the safety security box because we kept our passports in there. We'd walk in together. They had a key. We had a key. It was very exciting for a kid.
You had a childhood that had a securities box.
Safety. Yeah,
You had a box?
I had a box.
You guys had a safe deposit box?
We did.
That's a big deal.
It's not though. It was
It's
a tiny
not-
box.
It's not a regular folk thing.
You were up high.
Where'd
you
you
were on one of
keep
the
it?
high shelves. You guys had like an
No,
Altoids
we had
container.
a low. We had a low one down. It was like a small. Yeah, it was like a sort of like a shoe box, and we kept our passports or birth certificates, stuff that
All
for
locked
some,
away at the
for some
bank.
reason. Yeah, I don't know why. Looking back, I'm like, why didn't we just get a safe and put
Get
it in
one of
our
those at
house?
home, yeah.
But no, we kept it there. So when we'd go on vacation, my mom's like, let's go to the bank. Let's get everything. We'd go, and it was a big deal.
That's a highfalutin move.
Is there-
I don't know why.
Is it?
Well, it's like
Is it possible there was something in that safe deposit
There was
box that you
nothing
don't know
of
about?
value,
Like
no.
your mom was going to get something else before you went on
You know, it's
vacation?
funny because when she passed away, we still had that box, and there was nothing. I was like expecting, like, oh, I'm gonna find something good in here.
There's nothing in it.
There's really nothing in it, actually. There was like a pen, White Meadow Lake. I grew up in White Meadow Lake, New Jersey, and I think there was a pen from like the Rotary Club or something. I don't know.
Well, can I say this? The safe deposit box suggests affluence.
It does.
But it doesn't have to. It's like
It doesn't.
Jewels or
Know what
could be
else
like,
is?
some material that you don't want anyone to know about too. That's not
Yeah,
necessarily
in
valuable,
movies,
but
Yes.
like
it happens.
Yes.
right. It's like pictures of something you don't want
Yeah,
anyone
something
to see.
you don't want to know. Yeah.
I'm going to file the safe deposit box under a shoe buffer.
Okay.
And that most people that have shoe buffers at their home are affluent people. But you can be middle class and own a $30 shoe buffer. You just probably don't. And you can be middle class, you can pay $7 a month for a safe
Yes, I
deposit
think-
box,
yes.
but you probably don't. Like if you said to me, this guy's got a shoe buffer and a safe deposit box, I'd go, I want my daughter marrying that guy. But it could be
I
your
thought you were
flunky
talking
brother.
about a person when you're saying shoe buffer.
I know. I know.
No, I'm
A
talking
full-time
about with
shoe
this
buffer.
electronic thing.
I didn't.
Right.
We didn't have that.
One
See,
of
we
those
didn't
little
have that.
spinny things.
Well, that's right. You were rich.
No, we were. We were just middle class with the $7 Yes.
You had a shoe
at White
buffer.
Meadow Lake Bank. I don't even know if it was like a. I don't even know.
But if you wanted to be affluent, you'd have to get a shoe buffer
To get a shoe buffer
first.
and keep it in the safe deposit box.
Can you guys riddle me this? Because it's the second. No, it's now the third time this has happened to me by a younger woman who I was attempting to get a beer from. And then tell me in general why this is happening so much at the workplace. The Southwest flight attendant, who was a like kind of heavy set 26-year-old gal, came by miraculously because they cancel service all the time, came by the other day and said, "Would you like a beverage?" And I said, "Yes, I would like a light beer," which is this has now happened to me twice on a Southwest flight and then twice at a bar in an airport where I went, "A light beer." And they go, like an IPA?
No.
That's what she said. Now, she works on an airplane that has 3 beers.
At all.
Not
Just says
remotely
3
like
beers
a fucking
and-
IPA.
The one that has light at the end of it, like.
Can I
Bud
just say,
Light.
why do you fly Southwest?
Because to get to Vegas
Oh, yeah.
from Burbank, it's
So
really
quick.
about
'Cause it's-
all you can do.
it's about all you
and
can
there's
do.
a flight
Okay.
every half
Every-
hour,
yeah.
and I have low self-esteem, and I don't give a fuck. And
No, I just like you could fly other airlines if you chose to. I wondered if there was a reason why.
That's
the only
thing
good
is
flight.
you don't
It's so
want to.
quick.
No, you don't want to go out of LAX.
No.
Right.
So
Not from here, right?
No.
So
And
where
then-
do you fly out of?
Burbank.
Oh, right.
Well, that's what we're talking about. We're going Burbank.
Right.
That's
Burbank.
why
To
I fly
Vegas, it's like
Southwest.
every
so
half
long
hour.
because I fly back to New York, so like
Right.
it's
Then
been
you're
so long
LAX.
since I could leave out of Burbank.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
used to
yeah.
be able to.
You
when I
want to
first
get
started
out
coming
of
here.
Burbank.
Yeah.
Out here.
All right.
but
Well,
you-
let's
but
not
anyway.
digress.
Okay. Yeah.
In the airport.
Light beer and IPA are
So I go to her.
not even close.
But all she does all day is walk up and down the fucking aisle of this plane and hand out beers to every 5th person who asks for a beer. So she goes, "You mean like an IPA?" And I go, "No, like a light beer, like a Miller Lite or Bud Light or something like that." And she goes, "Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, we have a Bud Light." And I go, "Yeah, Bud Light. Like it's just a light. It's got. I don't say Bud Light because she could go, we don't have Bud Light,
Right.
but she have Miller Light. So I just go a light
beer.
And then she comes
Interesting,
back
man. She doesn't know her own stuff. That
and
she's
she
dealing
hands
with.
me a IPA.
No, she does not.
Yes, she does, 1,000%. And I go, I wanted a light beer. And she goes, oh yeah, okay, Bud Light. And then it happened to me in a bar in an airport like months ago where I went, "Do you have a light beer, like a Bud Light or Miller Lite?" And they go, "Well, we have a Fat Tire Ale or something." And I go, but a light beer? And she goes, that's a light beer. That's a light beer. I go, but there's a category of beer that ends in the word
Yes,
light.
yes, there
Heineken makes
is.
it.
Yeah.
Corona makes it. Everyone
Of
makes
course,
it.
yeah.
And you work at a bar.
Yes.
And I didn't come into your accounting office, barge into your cubicle, and demand
Give me a light beer.
A light beer, and you haven't drank for 22
They
years.
would know. They'd be like, Bud Light, Miller Lite.
Yeah,
like,
they
what
would
kind
know.
of light?
Accountants would
the
know.
accountants
Sure.
would know.
Absolutely.
Okay, I didn't come into your Amish foundry and demand a light beer. You walk the aisle of a Southwest flight. You have Bud White.
Foundry.
Well, some places you might not have beer.
I'm with you.
You walk the aisle of a Southwest flight and you hand out beer.
Oh,
and
my
you
God.
only have 3 beers. You have like a Corona, you have a IPA, and you have a Bud Light. So what's the confusion over the light beer? This is the second time. The person didn't know. You mean like a lighter colored beer or
Yes,
lighter in the can, weight-wise? And,
Yeah, she didn't know.
And on the ground, she didn't know either. What is this?
This is infuriating to me because I was a bartender for 15 years. But even
good.
if I was not a bartender for that long, and I wasn't in the service industry, when you say the word light, you're actually saying I want to. Even if I had no idea about any beers, no knowledge about it, I would assume when you say light, my first thought would be like Bud Light, Coors Light, Miller Light. That has to be what he's talking about. Not a
Right.
lighter color. I didn't say.
You can tell you've said that 1,000 times.
Oh my
How
God!
quickly you just rattle it off.
Literally, when I hear that, it just like drives me.
All right, how
absolutely-
annoying is this? Somebody, because I was a waiter, I was a bartender too. People ask you what kind of beer you have. You list
Listen,
17 beers, and then they ask you if you have one that you
you
didn't
don't.
say.
You didn't say. Oh, so you don't have.
You're like,
Blue Moon? You don't have Blue Moon? I didn't.
Did I say Blue Moon?
I want to turn the table over like one of the housewives in New Jersey when I hear.
Yeah.
I do it. You know, they'll do it too. Women do it. Men do it with beer. Women do it with salad dressing. So
right.
What kind of salad dressing?
Right.
We have a zesty Italian.
Yeah.
We have blue cheese. And we have Thousand Island.
Like,
No
do you have
Roquefort? No Roquefort? Oh, yeah, and Roquefort.
Oh, yeah,
right.
I
I
forgot to say that.
I forgot we have Roquefort.
I never actually
Roquefort.
ask, even
Roast
at a
bowl.
restaurant, I never ask. I always look on the menu to see if it's listed because I can't remember what you're just fucking telling me. Like, I want to see the options and then assume that that's it. But when somebody, like that, look, on the airplane, it's even more infuriating because they don't have a lot of options. They probably have 3 beers. 3.
Right, that's what I'm
assuming.
saying. That's what I'm saying.
One of them's a light beer.
Yes, one of them is a light beer.
One has the word
Very
light in it.
deliberately.
It has
One
the
of them
word
is a
light.
light
It's
beer.
not just
Right.
like, you
One
know,
of them is
yeah.
an IPA.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, I have a similar thing. On a flight, it's early morning. We're getting breakfast, and the flight attendant says, "Do you want the scramble, or the Southwest scramble, or the whatever?" Right? And I'm like, I'll have the scrambled eggs and hash browns, I think. And the guy next to me, he goes, "What's the Southwest?" And she goes, "Well, it's." I can tell immediately that she doesn't know.
She doesn't know.
Right.
And she goes, "It's it's similar, but with Southwest spices." and the guy goes like, "Does it have like chorizo in it?"
Right.
And she goes, "Kind of."
What?
Kind of. That is
I'm like,
awesome.
she doesn't know what's in it, and she doesn't know what chorizo is.
Oh, no, definitely not.
And then it comes in, it absolutely has chorizo in it.
Of course it does.
So very similar. This is what she,
Well, look,
but she doesn't know what's in the thing.
these
So,
are, okay, I get
champagne
it.
problems, right? I mean,
These are dumb people.
Yeah.
But dumb people, you need to work even harder.
right.
I
Yes.
think dumb people are like, I'm dumb. What do you want from me?
but
like,
what should we do on the other side? Should we help them?
I
No.
try to be condescending.
Should we say like you're okay, light beer, explain, or just get angry and
It makes me angry that they have a job where they didn't learn what they need to learn. Here's the
Yes.
thing. If that happened to me, which it would not, it would only happen once because I'd feel like an asshole and I would immediately go back to the galley and I would figure out every single thing that we offer on a
calling your
flight.
higher-ups?
I would literally be
Panic
like,
phone call?
I would be like, this is what we have. This is what's in this. Because I don't ever want to feel stupid. Like, do you know what I mean? I don't want someone to stare at me like that and be like,
Yeah.
what's in this or what's that? I'd figure it out. You know what I mean? And this chick was
Yes.
just like, no, just
right,
bring
but
him an
she's-
IPA.
She's not doing that. She
probably
maybe she
won't.
doesn't have the wherewithal to make that happen.
To know that the word light on the end of a bottle is what he's probably looking
Yeah.
for.
Yeah. I mean, she would have by now if she could, right?
Gosh, she's
no.
a little light.
No,
She's
no.
light. She is a flight attendant light. She's a light flight attendant.
No, well, okay, first off, your estimation that she would have, if she could have,
Yeah.
she can, she just doesn't, and nobody demands it of her.
Right.
Okay.
And that's the new world order. Yes,
Yeah.
every time I say to somebody where they go, we have the frittata, I go, what's in that? Let me check. And
Oh,
they have
let
to
me
leave.
check.
They have
Yeah.
to leave.
That's
it's like,
it.
I'd
You
just
don't-
say bacon and fucking Swiss cheese. Like, I don't know, commit it to memory. Okay, now I'm mad. And the reason I'm mad is because these bitches have infiltrated all of society because there's bunches of people that don't really want to do stuff or know how to do stuff, and they're just there. You know, the car dealership, the last time I went to look into buying a new car, I was thinking, I'm going all electric now. And I went to the Genesis dealership in Glendale. And I walked in, and it was this big, beautiful, huge SUV. And it looked amazing. And I was like, I heard you have the G70, it's all electric or whatever. And I go, do you have one of those available? To the 28-year-old chick who's now the car salesman. And she goes, yeah. I go, could I see one? Is there one I could take a look at? She goes, it's right there. I go, oh, that's all electric? She goes, yeah. I go, wow, that's so much bigger and nicer than I thought. I saw a picture. I thought it was smaller. No. I go, whoa, well, then maybe I will sign up for this. I didn't want to get the electric because I thought it was a little too small, but if it's a full size, so this is big
Yeah.
and beautiful. I go, well, where do you plug it in? She goes, Oh yeah, no, that's not the electric one.
She's
And
like,
I'm
you have
like,
to wind it.
your desk
You have
is
to wind it up at the back.
Your
It's
desk
wireless.
is 7 feet from this thing, and it sits here all day, every day. Really? Really?
Dude,
Wow.
And it's $86,000. Hold on. And then at some point, I'll look at the other whatever, and I'll go, sticker's 86. Yeah. Is that V8 or V6? She'll go, let me check on that. It's like, what do you have to check on? Just fucking learn it, know
it.
You want me to buy an $86,000 SUV. If I go across the street to the Apple store, the guy will know much more about the $400 phone than you know about the $86,000 vehicle.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you switch to electric?
I did.
And have you checked
I
out
have both.
the Rivian?
I've seen many on the road, but I've
like
not
them.
driven
They're the
one.
ones that I like. I switched to electric. I started driving Teslas 10 years ago.
Uh-huh.
And I love them.
Good.
And so now, and there was no SUV or truck or anything that was available then.
Right.
So now there is, and there's
Right.
crazy competition.
Yeah.
So I've been checking them out because I really want to get one. And I think I'm kind of leaning towards the Rivian SUV.
It's nice.
Are they
Pretty
100
badass.
grand?
Yeah.
They're a lot.
Yeah.
But they're
you
nice.
can lease them.
Oh, you can?
Yeah, you can lease them. So
Here's the
and that's a
thing.
lot more reasonable.
Here's
and that's a pretty kick-ass truck, man.
It makes me.
There's a bunch of them now, but
They're
some of them
really
are
nice. And if you work at any of, here's the thing. Yeah, 86,000. Even if it was 33,000, you're obviously going to make a commission on it. Wouldn't you?
But I
be
would
the
expect the
best
person to
sale-
know
You should be
everything
the
about
best
it when I go to look
salesperson
at it.
you've
All right,
had.
hold on. One at a time.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You should be
Go
the
ahead.
best salesperson. Like if I was excited about a product or a car or anything, I could sell the shit out of it.
Oh, yes,
by
you
knowing
could.
every single thing about it and getting excited about it and getting you excited about it. The second I'm like, let me check. You're tuned out. You're done.
Yeah.
It's like, especially with something very simple that's probably listed on. It's ridiculous.
also it's so doable. When I was doing Celebrity Apprentice, God, what happened to that guy Trump? Where'd he go? Oh
no.
Anyways,
vanished into
been a
obscurity.
Let me check.
Yeah, see, I mean, you Google other Trump names will come up. Jamie Trump, Steve Trump,
Love
Bob
Jamie.
Trump, but eventually Donald Trump will come up if you Google it, and then we'll see what he's up to. I
On like the
he's,
11th page.
he's still alive, I'm sure, and he's doing probably doing
Something.
some commercial stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, my task, our final challenge, the one that got me thrown off for, I got jobbed and screwed, but the one that got me thrown off for is I was told that we had to launch a Pontiac G4 something, some kind of integration with Pontiac. You know, they'd get the free
Right.
car and then they'd sponsor whatever. And I was the team leader, and I was told you have to give a Steve Jobs type presentation on this Pontiac G4. And I just went back to my room at Trump Tower.
And half an hour later, you knew what you needed to know.
Yes, I brought my information as a 2-liter, naturally aspirated, straight 4, 146 horsepower, 210 foot-pounds of torque, 34 towing capacity, mileage, range, whatever. And I just committed it to memory, and then I walked out the next day, and that's what I said. Because I looked at it at home. I
So you're
brought a
saying the
pamphlet
people
home.
that don't do that are too dumb to do it, or are they too lazy to do it? Or no, you're saying like they don't have a boss who's making them do it.
They are dumb. They are lazy.
Or D, all of the above.
They're not being compelled to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And dumb people don't care if you think they're dumb because they don't recognize you. As Jodi said, she would go into a shame spiral if she didn't know something that the customer was asking.
Well, they also could be dumb enough that they don't know that they're dumb. Like there's
that's
actual
what I'm saying.
scientific studies showing
that's what
people can actually be too dumb to know how dumb they are.
Oh, 1,000%.
So they think they're on top of shit.
They don't. I don't even know if they
On some
think
level,
they're
I
on
mean-
top of it. They
don't care.
don't care.
They don't care.
Right.
They're dumb, but they have to work. So then but they don't sit in the corner office. You interface with the dumb person.
Can I ask a question? What happened with that Pontiac presentation?
I got fucked royally.
Did you nail it, though, the presentation?
Oh, yeah. If you ask, Penn Jillette, who comically, our team was called, I don't know, when there came
Penn
time
was
to,
on your team with you?
Yeah, there's the men versus the women, And I remember
Giant Penn Jillette.
all these dickheads are on my side, and they're like, you got to name your team something. Your team needs a name. And I was like, Honey Badgers. And everyone looked at me and went, no, come on. And I was like, why not? And they're like, no, come on. I was like, why not? Honey Badger. Fucking Honey Badgers kick ass, man. So our team was called, I don't know what.
Not Honey Badgers.
Not Honey. Once they rejected my Honey Badger offering, I was like, I'm going to go fucking have a light beer over here. You fucking
An IPA.
Didn't you guys go with Forte?
Well, no.
Okay.
No, the other team went with Forte.
Oh, okay.
The other team the women went with Forte.
Like a little, you shouldn't have one of those in your team name.
Yeah, an umlaut or whatever, accent. We went with Forte.
An umlaut, now that's different.
That's different.
That's a different approach.
Yeah, no, you have to have a...
I did an episode of that show, actually.
You have to have a low-and-brow light in order to get an umlaut.
Uh-huh.
Oh, you didn't?
I did.
Oh, wait, hold on. Let me finish, and then we'll get to that.
Totally spaced. Just one little thing I did. But yeah.
So, other team was called Forte.
Forte.
Penn Jillette explained to us that it was pronounced Fort the entire time because he's smarter than everybody, and it's Fort. They don't know what they're doing. It's called Fort. And then somewhere mid-season, he got traded to the Forte team, but he called it Fort.
Oh, I don't know. You could trade people. That's cool.
They mix it up at a certain point, and then at some point, I got put in charge of the Pontiac G4, and they wanted Michael Andretti to do it because he was an Andretti, but he didn't want to do it because he was sponsored by Toyota, and he couldn't do it, but he couldn't say he was sponsored by Toyota, so they made me
and you're
do
a Carolla.
I'm a
it was
Carolla.
Weird. It was awkward.
I know. And then the segment producer explained to us the rules off the air, and they said, do a Steve Jobs type presentation. And then I said, I'll get everybody up here to come up on stage with me. And then Penn Jillette, once again, smartest guy in the room, he said Steve Jobs. The guy said Steve Jobs presentation. So I said, fine. And I went up alone and I did a Steve Jobs presentation and I nailed it. And then we got to the boardroom and they said, you did not involve enough of the rest of your cast. And why didn't Michael Andretti do it? And I was like, well, first off, that's not my fault. He didn't want to do it. So I stepped up. Number one. Number two, your person told me to do it this way, which they cut out because that was off camera.
Right.
So they kept yelling at me, or why didn't I involve people more? Well, I involved people, but I stood up on stage alone.
Right.
That's because your stupid producer explained it this way. I said...
The producer's Gillette? Penn Jillette is the producer?
No.
No. Oh, okay. So I was
the producer said to do it that way, and then Penn Jillette said...
okay.
I went to Penn's laptop. I said, I've never seen a Steve Jobs presentation. He opened his laptop. He showed me Steve Jobs.
Just him.
Yeah. And he said, that's what the guy said. I said, okay.
When you left...
Do you think he set you up? Penn Jillette?
Oh, probably. No, I'm kidding.
No, because the guy said... It wasn't him. It was the producer.
Right, he was
right.
But is it possible that he told you that and they didn't tell him that? Is what I mean. Like he gave you false information to get you.
Penn Jillette.
Yeah. Or are you guys buddies? I can't tell.
Well,
I couldn't tell
I like Penn Jillette, but no,
I do too.
But how would he feed it?
He is a little bit of a nut, though. The guy.
Yeah, but if the producer said that, then how did Penn set me up?
Well, I mean, if the producer didn't say it. And Penn told you the producer said it to get you to do it.
Right, but I was in the room and the producer tells everybody. I didn't go, I'm going to go on a soda run, fill me in when I get back. No, they get everyone in the room, but you had a story too.
I got you. I was just trying to understand how.
I'm sorry.
When you left,
no.
Did you scream Honey Badgers?
I lifted my fist, I yelled Wolverines.
Honey Badgers!
Honey Badgers! We were team unanimous. That was our team. So this is the internet. Sorry, you had a story?
So my Cash Cab was initially on Discovery Channel. Right? So I was part of the Discovery family, so I knew the original Deadliest Catch guys. I still do.
Oh, right.
Great bunch of dudes. So Captain Sig from Deadliest Catch was on a season of The Apprentice.
Oh, he was.
Yeah. And so he calls me and he's like, I want you to come and do some stand-up for me. And I'm like, what? I have no idea he's on the show or what. I'm like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? He's like, just come to this address, you know. I'm like, Sig, what are you doing? Finally, I get him. He's like, I'm on The Apprentice. I need help. We're trying. Geraldo Rivera and I are trying to put together a cruise where these people go out on a cruise on a like a circle line, you know.
Right.
So I'm like, dude, I really don't want to come and do stand up on a boat for you. But he convinced me to do it, so I went. And it was actually okay. But there's a funny moment where he and Geraldo were dressed up like sea captains and these like little, like they look like Gopher and Doc from Love Boat.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And they come in and they've got another one and they like come walking over to me and I go, I'm not wearing a fucking sea captain's outfit. And they just like put their heads down and turn around and walked out.
Oh my God.
And did you do it?
So I did stand up on a boat.
And like in the harbor kind of thing?
Yeah.
And
at like noon on a Wednesday for... I don't know who was in the crowd. It wasn't really
terrible.
It was more of like they were pitching this thing. I don't know if the people that paid for tickets for it. I don't know how they would have known about it, or if they were legitimately people who were like, "Oh yeah, I'd love to do this."
I think I once
because they just made it up the day before, you know.
I once did stand up on the ferry leaving Hoboken.
Really?
Yeah, it was like a corporate. It was terrible. It was like, and I had only been doing stand up like 3 years. I'm like, what's happening? Where am I?
Yeah.
Did I make it, or is this the end?
One.
Like you have no idea. Like it's just. It was out. It was cold. It was windy. And at that time, my humor was like, I hate when I get a sunburn and I'm peeling. Like that was my humor at the time.
What? Yeah, I'd read a coffee table book or look at a coffee table book where just like places we've done stand up.
Yes, think about it. Where's like the craziest you've done? I've done strip clubs too.
I did last weekend.
Where?
Backyard of a frat house in Santa Barbara.
That's fun. I've definitely done those. I've done backyard shows.
Yeah, this was bad, though.
How many people were there?
There's probably 80, 70, 60 people who were drunk, and then one guy just kept yelling, fuck you, as loud as he could. And he was one of the dads. It wasn't a frat kid.
For real?
Oh, yeah.
What did you do?
Wow, man.
I dealt with him as best I could, and then at some point, my daughter told him to shut the fuck up.
Oh, my God.
And he kept yelling, fuck you, as loud as he could.
This was literally last weekend?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
This is last weekend. And then some people got around him and started to try to talk him down a little bit.
Right. Was he just angry and drunk or just...
I think I've learned. I learned later after he wrote a heinous vitriolic letter to our website, our assistant or whatever.
We kept going.
A very long, angry letter. I think he was a big Kamala Harris fan.
Right.
And by the way, that guy just got fucked royally because this was Saturday before the election, you know. But so enjoy that. But by the way, you know, you from this letter, he's very upset over the course of this. But there's a lot of comedy involved, which is he stood there and yelled "fuck you" as loud as he could for a while.
Oh my God!
And then he told my daughter that I was an asshole, and then my daughter told him to shut the fuck up. And then this is a 55-year-old guy, like well-dressed, you know. And then at some point, some of his family or something gathered around him, and like was kind of, you could see him going like, just don't, you know, you don't need to do this, you know. And he's like, fuck that guy, you know. And then they're kind of talking him off the ledge. And then at some point, they just kind of ushered him out, and then he yelled, "Fuck you!" But
last time. Before the gate closed.
What was in the letter?
Oh, I don't know.
Just said "fuck you."
Joe probably has
times.
it.
You should get the letter
somewhere.
Well,
it's probably good. It's comical, but I'll tell you the real comedy.
Yeah.
The real comedy is my daughter goes like 2 weeks early. She goes, you want to do stand up in the backyard at this. Now, she didn't say in the backyard. She just said at the frat house, you know. And I was like, yeah, anything for you. You know, I'll do a few minutes. And it got on and people got drunk and the day wore on. And at some point, it's like, this isn't happening and good. But the comedy, the real comedy of it is my girlfriend, Crystal, was like, don't do it. Because she's like, you're going to get in trouble, something. It's not going to go right. It's not going to go right. And I do, you know, Crystal, she's like, don't do anything. Don't drive the car without whatever it is. I'm going to go race a car. I'm like, don't do it. Like, she just says, don't do it to everything. And I just go, fuck it, I'm doing it. I don't care. And so the day goes on and we're there for like 2 hours and it appears like this is never going to, the guy, everyone's drunk. The guy forgot. No, there's nobody said anything to me. There's nothing. Then,
like you're not gonna they're not gonna want you to actually do the set.
First off, my daughter is as accurate as like a weatherman who's never been right in their life. It's like she just shouts shit out and it never comes to nothing ever happens. For all I know, she never even talked to anybody about this or whatever. So I'm there. It's 2 hours have gone by. Nothing's happening. There's no stage. There's no microphone. There's no nothing. They're just pumping the jam, you know? So I'm like, fuck it. I'll have a few beers and mix in with the family. I don't need to do this. And then at some point, my girlfriend, who's told me 2,200 times, don't do it leading up to this, goes, I'm going to go get some Starbucks and some whatever. And I'm going to sneak out and fucking do my own thing for a while. So she leaves, and then right when she leaves, the guy walks up and he's like, you want to do some stand-up now? God. And I'm like, all right, I'll do it. Yeah.
She would have maybe said no.
She would have been like, do not do this.
Yeah, I'll do it now. And so the guy goes and gets a microphone and everything, and then I just go stand on top of this old wooden rickety bar. I start doing stand-up, and like 10 minutes in, the guy starts screaming, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. And I'm up there and I'm going, thank fucking Christ, Crystal's gone.
Yeah.
Thank God she'd be going, I told you.
Yeah.
I told you this was going to happen. So I'm just like, okay. So I finished, the guy gets ushered out. It's fucking scene. My daughter's pissed. Everything, whatever. So then,
I've never done a backyard show.
So then, he didn't leave, whatever. An hour later, Crystal comes back, and I'm like, I'm not going to say shit about it. I'm not saying shit about anything. I'm not even telling her I did stand-up. I'm not sure how to go or whatever.
She never even knows about it. Right?
So
until now.
Then later on, but my daughter says to Crystal, she goes, yeah, Adam did stand-up. And Crystal's like, how was it? My daughter's like, yeah, it was great. Everyone loved it. And I'm like, yeah, okay, good. Yeah, it was funny. But a lot of people come by like, hey, man, good set. You know, and I go, yeah, another satisfied customer. Yeah. And so we're leaving and we're driving back to L.A. and stuff. I'm like, I'm not saying a fucking word about the guy, that middle-aged guy spun out and yelled, fuck you a million times, had to be let out.
It would have been great if you and Christian were walking out and he was like, fuck you.
But because it has to go this way, the following day, that email shows up to the assistant account, and Crystal's just sitting in bed on her computer going, what is this? Now, I didn't even read it. It was long and ambling, but I don't know if you guys have it there, but it is pretty... It's pretty animated.
Well, they're looking for it.
Dawson, I don't know what turning the finger means.
Okay, well,
you're looking for it. Okay.
It will be with us in 12 minutes when your assistant parks and can forward it over from the email.
Oh, okay. It's pretty brutal.
12 minutes.
I had only been doing stand-up a year, and I did a bar show that was like, they didn't know there was comedy happening. That's what happens when you do a show at a backyard show or something, and people aren't aware that it's happening, and then they're drunk. And I get up there, it was Bar A in Belmar, New Jersey. And this was during my dress phase, where I thought I had to wear a dress to do stand-up. So I'm in a dress. You guys know what I'm talking about.
No.
And I get on the stage.
Has that changed?
No. And it's like 3 p.m, and I get on stage, and there was a regular there who is mentally incapacitated. He's just like the special needs regular customer there, and everybody was like, oh, this is Hank or whatever his fucking name was. And I'm on stage. I said one joke and I had to do 20 minutes. It was my first joke. And right after that, this guy just sat there the entire set yelling, "You're dying!
It's a retarded Hank.
And no one said anything because this guy had problems. And I couldn't say anything because if I said anything, I'd be the person just like slamming a mentally handicapped guy. Shut the fuck up. So I'm sitting there sweating in a dress that was polyester. It was terrible. It was the summer, and all you hear is, "You're dying! You're dying," over and over and over again. I was like, I am dying. Every part of me is dying right now. And then there was like a couple that were like this, just looking at me. It was just the worst. I cannot believe I continued to do stand-up after this entire debacle.
You did.
I did.
You came back.
I got off stage. They didn't ask him to leave. They were like, do you want a free drink? That's the only thing they said to me when I got off stage. I'm like, yes, obviously. I'm like, obviously I do. It was the worst. It was a nightmare.
Yeah. I had a woman in a wheelchair heckling me at a show once.
Really?
Yeah. A young woman at a college.
Young woman in a wheelchair.
Rolled up next to the stage and started yelling, calling shit out. And
oh my God.
I was pretty young. I was like, I just started doing colleges. God. You know, that's like you get to that, okay, I can do colleges and like actually
Did she
put a
have
little money in the bank.
Specific gripe? Like my guy just kept yelling, "Fuck you."
My guy yelled, "You're dying."
She was just like picking me apart and telling me I wasn't funny and who did I think I was? And I was just like, what? I don't have no fucking idea how to handle this. I can't yell at this woman.
Can't.
You know, I think I did in the end. I kind of like, I went after her a little bit, but like.
Thankfully you were there.
I'm like, I need this check.
Thankfully you were there during
I need this check.
You were there during the time where they couldn't record it. Like, and I too, if I started, if you had lashed back at this drunk guy, you'd be everywhere right now. Like,
well, I figured
there were people, I was going to ask that.
Yeah, was anybody filming that?
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. There were, his kid presumably was somewhere in the crowd.
Why was he there at this frat party? Was it like Parents' Weekend?
It was Parents' Weekend, and I do not want to, per se, break things down politically, but I will say that the people that are more on the left who do stand-up, the folks that are a little more conservative in the audience do not feel like it's their job to stand up and correct them all the time. The people who are more right-leaning who do stand-up, the people on the left want to correct them, fix them, and coach them up. They're telling some Hillary Clinton joke or something, and they're getting angry, and it's kind of a weird thing. Now, a lot of it is they're just narcissists, and this guy, who I knew was kind of a hard lefty just because he was what he was doing, although he just kept yelling, "Fuck you." Later, when I saw the letter, I think some of that was on display, some of the politics, but there's a thing that's going on where people in general feel empowered to just sort of talk to the person. That's sort of what I said before the show started. It's like there's no more bosses anymore. It's like, I'm on stage, I'm holding a mic, I am the boss for this period of time. No, this is not a dialogue that we're having. And no, you don't get a vote. I'm saying this. And the stuff I say is stuff I think of. And if you disagree with it, that's okay, because Mark Maron will come up next and say a bunch of shit you do agree with.
Yes.
So that's how it works.
Yes.
So I don't know why one side feels much more empowered, but because I think there's a righteousness and that they feel like they're doing some kind of important work, and that me, making fun of, I had a Down syndrome joke once, and I just had a woman come up to me like after the show and goes, like, no more of that joke. And I was like, yes, I'll be doing that joke. And she goes,
like, is she your manager?
But no more. And I was like, no, I will continue to do the joke. And she goes, I have a son with Down syndrome. And I'm like, I'm sorry to hear that, but I shall be. And she thought she was going to walk up to me and go, all right, well, let me get my set list. And you just X out the stuff you disagree with or don't like. Mm-hmm. And it's like, they feel just like the flight attendant who doesn't know they're dumb. They just feel like, well, I'm going to do away with this joke. Yeah. And I'm going to walk up to the comedian and just tell him to cease doing it. And it's like, no, I'm just going to yell "fuck you" real loud in the back of a frat house, and then this guy's gonna start seeing things my way. He's not allowed to get
Just
up there
great
and do that.
that's the only thing he could say. There was nothing else that came out of his mouth that he could you know what I mean? Just like fuck you is just.
It was awesome. Well, we'll find the letter, theoretically. We'll take a break. It should be on the web. I mean, isn't it on the email somewhere? No.
I think for me, the answer is to the worst
Not
place
an email we have access to at the moment.
Oh, okay.
that I ever did stand up as a laundromat.
Oh, he did
I've
laundromat.
done
And it actually
laundromat.
turned out later to be like a decent little show that
Yeah.
some of
Really?
these people did in
There
New
used to
York.
be one
yeah.
out here too that they used to do.
It kind of makes sense
New
if
York
there's room,
makes sense.
but there's people are doing laundry while you're doing it. It's like, okay.
There's certain things that could be so kitschy that could actually be cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's what happened with that. It became like a little bit of a show. So people would pop in. You could like be washing your socks and, you know,
Stand up.
yeah, somebody who is now a pretty well-known comic, some of them, you know, is just doing stand-up while you're doing your laundry.
Cash cab guy.
Yeah, no, I didn't mean me. I meant
I meant you. All right, break, and then we'll come back and we'll do some news.
Hey, I'm Adam Carolla. That's Brad Williams and Jay Leno. Hey, buddy. Over there, we're doing our 3rd annual comedy fantasy camp. That's going to be January 23rd through the 26th, right in Hollywood, California. Where else would it be? These guys are going to be there.
So remember, 2 out of every 3 comics make it big.
Well, 1.5.
Do I get paid for this? Please tell me I get paid for this.
Go to comedyfantasycamp.com and get in on the fun.
Qualia Senolytics, the biggest discovery of our time for promoting healthy aging. I feel 15 years younger, and you'll feel 15 years younger in a matter of months. As we age, the body accumulates senescent cells or zombie cells that cause symptoms of aging, aches, slow workout recovery, sluggish mental and physical energy. Like pruning dead leaves off a plant, Qualia Senolytics removes worn out old senescent cells and allows the rest to thrive. So that's it. You got to prune those cells. Take it just 2 days a month. It's non-GMO. It's vegan. It's gluten-free. 100-day money-back guarantee to feel fantastic. It is the best move I've ever made. Am I right, Dawson?
Resist aging at the cellular level. Try Qualia Senolytic. Go to qualialife.com/Adam for up to 50% off and use code Adam at checkout for an additional 15% off. For your convenience, Qualia Senolytic is also available at select GNC locations near you. That's QUALIA life.com/Adam for an extra 15% off your purchase. Thanks to Qualia for sponsoring today's episode.
My friend is an idiot, really, isn't he? He's an idiot. He always can't believe stuff that's irrefutable. Every New Year's Eve, he says the same thing. I can't believe another year went by. I'm like, what did you think was going to happen?
Ben Bailey is on the Adam Carolla Show.
And Skinny Jodi Miller, who loves that title.
I do love that. I love it when people
Scott.
reach out to me. Thank you for reaching out to me, Adam Carolla fans who compliment on me being skinny.
Yeah. On the way to Santa Barbara, I was upset, though, which is, I was talking about this, and you were talking about it off the air to me, and then it reminded me. And Dawson will know this. On the way to Santa Barbara, there's a big sort of landmark, been there for 80 years, called the Big Yellow House.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is now painted white.
Right.
Right.
And I'm angry.
Yeah.
I am too.
Because
Yeah.
you either paint it yellow, again,
Guess what it's called still?
the Big Yellow House,
Exactly.
or take the fucking sign down.
Change the name.
Why would they paint it a different color if it's called the Big Yellow
That's
House?
it's a terrible move.
It's terrible. And there's I had an exchange with Joe.
Clifford the
Somebody
Big
put
Red
something
Dog.
on my screen when we were talking about it with Jay Moore, except for they took it off my screen before I got to the bottom of it, which is a discussion we've had a few times. You can just leave it on there. But I got an explanation from Byron on why they call the Big Yellow House, why they paint it white. And if my screen was correct, they claim it was off yellow. It's white.
What the fuck is off yellow?
White.
There's no such thing as off
Yeah,
yellow.
if you actually lighten up yellow, it's a yellow light, it's actually white.
It's super light yellow is white.
It's white.
Yeah, so
There's
they
only
painted it
off-white
white.
is the only off color is off-white, right?
Well, that leads me to another thing that angers me.
Which is probably not really a color. It's beige or
yeah, it's a color.
That's fine.
sand.
The color that I used to paint when I was a painter all the time was Swiss coffee and Navajo white. Those were the two popular colors. And it always angered me that Swiss coffee was whiter than Navajo white. So the one that has the word coffee in it is white, and the one that has white in it is dark.
Yeah.
And it fucked me up, and I hate it, and I'm angry at Dunn Edwards.
And my house
That would bother me too.
is painted Swiss coffee. And when he was telling me the colors, he said Swiss coffee is the most popular because I originally said, I want my house white with the black trim. And he said, okay, well, Swiss coffee is the one that we use. And I said, is it white? And he said, it's Swiss coffee. And then he had other ones that had white. I was like, but that was the whitest. And I go, and I just kept saying, so Swiss coffee, not the it was so confusing to me. Why is it Swiss coffee? Why is it named Swiss coffee? Swiss coffee is not white. It's beige. I've been in Switzerland and I've had coffee. It's not. No one's
Depends how
like,
much milk you put in it.
it's
right?
too much milk. Then it's not coffee. Then it's just
The big Swiss coffee house.
Yes.
Let's
it's
do
milk
it.
coffee. Then it's milk coffee. I would at least
And
get.
Navajo white, I bet, doesn't exist anymore.
Doesn't. I've never even heard of it.
It was ubiquitous,
That's not PC.
and
Can't
that
say
you
that.
painted everything Navajo white when I was a painter. Does Dunn Edwards use the name Navajo white anymore? And Jodi, want to really get angry?
That's beige.
Eggshell.
Eggshell.
Eggshell was a texture, and then somebody made it a color, but nobody knows what you're fucking talking about. So it goes flat, eggshell, satin, semi-gloss, glossy. Okay, that's it. Then somebody said eggshell, and so you go, they made it a color white called eggshell, except for people think you're talking about the finish, not the color, because you would have to go, give me a gallon of Swiss coffee in semi-gloss and give me a gallon of Swiss coffee in flat if I'm going to paint my wall flat and my trim semi-gloss. But eggshell fucks everybody up because they think you're talking about something else. Why are we doing this?
Eggshell.
bad
then.
idea.
Is that what you're saying now?
Eggshell,
what if I want
eggshell.
eggshell?
You could get,
Would people know what I was talking about if I said I want eggshell?
Or you could go to Little Caesars and get pizza.
Which is a totally
That's a
different
different
color.
color.
Different color on the walls. That's not white.
It's like an orange.
That Navajo white is racist. It's
Yes.
like saying
Do
that
they
it's
have
white.
it?
It's like I don't. It's not white.
They still have Navajo white. All right, look, here's what I want. Everyone who got the Cleveland Indians taken down.
Exactly.
And everybody who got the Washington Redskins taken down. And everybody who's got every high school to get rid of Braves or Warriors or something in place with Commanders or douche nozzles or whatever you replace with. You
That's a good name for a team.
motherfuckers need to get going on Dunn Edwards and Navajo White. Navajo white is possibly more offensive.
Totally.
It just means dark white.
Darker white. It's like white but a little dirty. That's what they're saying.
Dark white.
Yes. If we got
Dark white eggshell.
Yeah, that's what it is.
I'll take the dark white
I'll take
eggshell,
the dark
please.
white and eggshell.
If we got Bernadette Peters to fuck that Indian on the side of the freeway, that kid would be colored Navajo white. That's what we would call it. That's the shade of the kid. The crying
the
Indian
crying over the
Crying
garbage
Indian.
Indian.
had sex with Bernadette Peters. I'm going back to 77,
I remember that
78.
commercial.
And they had, then
I
their
remember.
baby, the color of that baby will be Navajo,
Navajo
white.
white.
And that's why it's offensive.
Well,
and
if
that's
you paint
why
the baby that color, it would be.
everybody, we could dip them in Navajo. Everybody who is angry at the Commanders or the Redskins or the Braves or the Indians, you guys need to fucking get on it.
Listen, when my daughter applies to college, I'm using that as her ethnicity. She's Navajo.
Navajo white. Get the fuck on it. I can't believe it's 2024 and Dunn Edwards has
I
not
can't either.
pulled that one out.
That's terrible.
I
It'd be
can't
like if-
believe
Yeah.
the city of Summerlin, California hasn't put up an ordinance that says whoever owns the big yellow house must paint it yellow.
That's crazy. Or change the name.
Yeah,
like
it
if
is
Clifford the
shocking
Big Red
when
Dog
you
was
see it.
blue.
Yeah,
I want to see a picture of the. Do you have a picture of it now? What it looks like now? Let's just see this off yellow. Hold on.
Jody's a colorist.
I am That's white. It's fully white, and it's a big white house. And
It's not like there's some yellow in
There's
the
not even
picture
yellow
to
trim.
give you
oh yeah, exactly. It's like right there.
the line on the concrete there is yellow.
Can I
Holy
say, all right,
shit.
what is this? A bed and breakfast with like a diner in it or something?
No, it's a restaurant. I've eaten there a whole bunch of times. One time I showed up with my friends, ordered my eggs Benedict, and then remembered I had an air shift. And so I ran to my truck, drove to the radio station, voice tracked a 4-hour air shift in about 15 minutes, raced back to the big yellow house, and I was arriving at my table just as the waitress was setting down my eggs
Holy
Benedict.
shit. That's amazing.
Right.
And
Or they're
that
just trying to get people to start talking about it, maybe.
that is the big yellow house.
Paint it white. People start talking about
Yeah.
it.
Dawson, I know you were a little dismissive of what is an Airbnb, the thing, but you don't see many restaurants with a second story and balconies and bedrooms and
Yes.
stuff, right? It's something.
No, correct.
Actually,
yeah, no,
no,
each
on the
it's an old house,
Yeah.
and there are several rooms that are separate dining rooms. It's just,
Nobody.
yeah, it's a house.
Nobody goes up there, and no one lives there, though. You don't. think.
I'm sure they have no one lives there. They have an office.
Oh, okay.
It's a restaurant.
All right, it's called the Big Yellow House. What the f?
That's yellow. No, that's yellow. I feel like,
Yes.
by the way, on the East Coast, there's a lot of house restaurants that are like that. That's what they used to do. But they're the color that they say they are. Like the Red
go to
Barn
one in Myrtle
is
Beach.
is Red Barn.
Called the Sea Captain's House, which is pretty good spot.
Well, all right. Let's figure this out. The owner said the new color was, in fact, very pale yellow.
It is not.
It is not. And
He's legally
okay,
blind.
the point is this. You have a sign called the Big Yellow House, and it's popular enough that I'm aware of it, and Dawson is aware of it. Everyone who travels up and down the 101, it gets millions of eyeballs a year. It's called the Big Yellow House, right? Now, maybe they're hiding behind some light yellow bullshit, but and by the way, I always want to write a book called What Black People Think White People Talk About All Day, and this would be that.
This would be
There's
it.
no black couple, no podcast.
They're
never
definitely not
this.
talking about that.
Never addressed this situation. This is a major problem we have. I've painted many houses. A house that size, double story, 8,000 square feet, it is not done in an afternoon. It takes many, many days. And what happens when you paint a house is oftentimes they paint one wall or one corner or whatever, and then you walk around the corner as the owner, you come home and you go, oh, I thought we were doing yellow.
Yeah.
That looks white. And you get out of your car and you take your sunglasses off and you go, no, they said light. No, that's not.
That's
we
not
got
what we wanted, yeah.
Jose, stop the roller. Stop the roller. Stop the presses.
Just a roller.
Stop the rollers. Halt the roller.
Took one guy with a roller.
The rollers. Halt the rollers. I'm going down to the Home Depot. I'm going to come home with some swat. I don't want to don't keep going.
This is not Canary.
Could have done that.
Yeah.
Didn't do it.
No, you didn't do it. Also, by the way, that person picked out that color. You have a lot of swat. You don't just like willy-nilly paint that house. You sit with a team of people and you're like, which color should we go with?
Yes.
That shouldn't even be a decision because it's called the Big Yellow House. I think it's right
Agreed.
there. I mean,
all right.
That's
Sorry.
a funny
news.
little idea there. Like the painters rolled up. And they looked at the sign and they were like, what color do you want to go with?
You want the Swiss coffee?
Like, are you fucking kidding me?
Navajo white.
Yellow.
Still available.
It's
Navajo white.
Still
We're gonna go with
available.
Navajo white.
Still available.
all right, let's talk about the world's 10 richest people got a record 64 billion richer, 64 with a B, billion richer from Trump's reelection, guys.
Really?
Yep, okay. So here we go. The
Like
wealth,
instantly?
pretty instantly. The wealth of the world's 10 richest people also soared by a record amount, according to the Bloomberg Billionaire Index. Did you know that there was a Bloomberg Billionaire Index?
I did.
No.
Okay, now you do. So the biggest gainer, take a guess.
Elon.
There you go. Bam. He is the world's richest person and one of Trump's most outspoken, dedicated supporters. His wealth jumped from a $26.5 billion to now he's worth $290 billion.
Wait. But how does it jump when
what
he
was
hasn't enacted anything?
Let me see. One of the other, so the other gainers, just so you know, Jeff Bezos, other gainers, Bill Gates, all the people that you would expect, Larry Page.
Is it tax related? Is it because they're not going to sunset the tax breaks?
Let's see. It says it
it
notes
has to
the
be.
the biggest daily increase of wealth since the index began in 2012. The market rallied on Wednesday as an election that collectively.
Oh,
yes,
the market.
The market. It's the market.
Oh,
Yeah.
All right. So the
So-
market rallied.
Wait, how much did Musk go from? What did he start at?
Oh, 26.5 billion to 290. And by the way,
That's
it's like at
insane.
that point, who
That's
cares?
10
After
times.
1 billion.
That can't be right.
Wait a minute. He didn't go from 26 to 290 when Trump got elected.
26.5 billion to 290 billion.
But didn't you say there was 60 billion in gain?
Says 64 billion. So he jumped up 33 billion. He alone jumped up 33 billion.
Oh, maybe
Yeah.
I didn't hear it. Oh,
Yeah,
I'm
26.5 billion to 290 billion. So 30,
No, that's
35.
that can't be right.
Wait a minute.
That's saying he went up by 230
No.
billion or something.
Oh, yeah, that's right, 200. Well, that's what it's saying. So this might be a this might be a typo. So maybe
might
it's
be a typo.
So maybe it's 29.9.
missing a decimal point.
There's a missing decimal. Okay?
right. Anyway,
Anyway, it's a
Rich.
lot. Anyway,
Anyway,
Jeff
yeah,
Bezos.
a lot of fucking money.
Yes. And by the way, again, after you hit $1 billion, like all of this, so 26 to 29 billion.
I think after that, I
I mean,
think
that's $3 billion. That's a lot of
so
money.
A lot of
you
money.
and I and many of the people we grew up with think in money in terms of money, like, man, you know how many jet skis you could buy with $1 billion? I think I could have like 700,000 jet skis, you know. But they don't look at it that way. I think they look at it as it's a dick swinging competition.
Right.
You know, they want to obviously once you get past the amount of money you could ever spend in 10 lifetimes, then it just becomes all
It just is
a
like,
big
yes.
dick swinging competitions. Number one,
Huge dick.
but number two, I think they start thinking in terms of changing, shaping, and molding society, and that used to mean building an orphanage and putting your name on it, or a library,
Yeah.
or putting a gym at a campus or something. Now it's like going to another planet and colonizing it.
So just so you know, Trump's social
is
media
ridiculous.
company, Trump's social media company also cashed into the shares. It's skyrocketing in value after CNN and other media outlets projected Trump won. The stock rose as much as 35% at one point before fading. That's a lot.
Yeah, it's funny
Well, it might only be 3.5%.
because I know you can
I'm going
find
to guess probably 35, but maybe.
You can find a clip of Mark Cuban, maybe Dawson. Dawson's got something there. But remember before the last Trump election, Mark Cuban was explaining that the stock market was going to crash if Trump got elected?
Did he?
No, I don't remember that.
Yeah, he did. Which,
don't doubt, but I don't
which is
remember.
to say, I like Mark Cuban, but I don't get, like, Mike August is wrong all the time. And I had a conversation with him. I said it on the air. It was like 5 months ago. It was a perfect Mike August conversation. He goes, Republicans and Trump, they're not going to get past this whole abortion thing. It's going to kill him. It's going to kill him. They're not going to get past it. I go, well, he's ahead in the polls now. Hey, this was 5 months ago or whatever. And he goes, they're never going to get elected because of the abortion thing. And I go, well, yeah, I agree that they don't like it, but he is leading in the polls now. And he goes, what polls? I go, I don't know. The polls, the whatever polls they have. I haven't seen them. Okay. There's polls. They have them. They're not always spot on, but he is leading in the polls. Well, he's not getting elected because of the abortion thing. And I go, maybe he won't, but right now he is ahead. And then Mike questioned the polls and wanted to know what polls, and then did the thing. I do like this thing too, where they go, I can make up whatever polls I want too. And I was like, okay, now I'm not really doing that. I know you could take a napkin and write $1 on it, but no one's going to accept it. So there are polls. But then when Trump does win, Mike never comes to me and goes, wow, I was way off about all that shit. They just shut up and they never say a word. And then they move on to the next thing. So that they're wrong about. The Mark Cuban is a smart guy, but You do have the letter. You can find the Cuban saying the stock market's going to go. It's really long, but go ahead.
Hello.
All right.
Fuck you.
I gather that this is a curated email address that is monitored regarding anything having to do with Adam. I realize that Adam may never see this email, but if you were to let Adam know that I took the time to write this email to him, he would remember that I was the second father that he upset this afternoon in Santa Barbara.
Well, he was,
Who was the first?
He was a mute dad who I have no idea. But this guy was the guy who yelled, fuck you, as loud as he could.
Who's the first father that you upset?
Listen, baby, I can't keep track. You think Wilt Chamberlain knew the name of every bitch he plowed?
Yes.
Oh, he did?
Okay. There were polls.
Well,
there were so many
Dawson,
polls.
it's really long, so I'll let you find some of the super insulting
Nuggets.
highlight if it's in there.
Well, just reading through it is really going to help us. I mean, if you want to give me time, sure.
I'll give you a second. I'll give you a second to highlight some of the lowlights in there because I didn't read through it, but I heard some of the highlights and it's pretty beefy.
I definitely need to hear it.
It's pretty strong all the way through.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, let's just go. For some reason, Adam decided to do a pseudo-comedy routine that had come up with a few things that he thought were funny. The first thing that went over like a lead balloon was his inappropriate jokes about Down syndrome as it related to Barbie. Now,
right.
in fairness to Adam, there's no way he could have known that the Irish dad that called him out had 3 autistic nieces, but his jokes were absolutely tasteless, and I think Adam needs to rethink that. After that happened, Adam decided to tell a bunch of Joe Biden jokes, and that is where I drew the line. I shouted to Adam that he had reached his expiration date and he should not keep going. Adam looked straight at me and said, I have offended another father. Now, I don't know Adam's political affiliation, but what I really know is that this election is going to define how Adam's daughter, who turned to me and said, shut the fuck up, bitch, is going to be able to live her life in this country. Now, my daughter, after a wonderful day of going to the frat houses and dancing and having a wonderful time in this utopian environment, which is Goleta on the water, became incredibly upset and angry. One of her roommates was ready to attack Adam's daughter for being angry at me. I spent the last hour and a half explaining to those girls that it's natural that Adam's daughter would say the things she said to me because she is protecting her father. Although my girls felt it was completely inappropriate, I tried to communicate with them that if the shoe were on the other foot and I was in Adam's place saying the stupid shit that he was saying that had no business being said, saying stupid shit like that.
All right. So this guy's
Very clear.
First off, this guy, he may have been upset after this. He's in the fucking fetal position after the election, number one.
Totally.
So he should kiss my hairy balls. But number two, my daughter was standing front and center almost 5 feet. You know, a couple people were in front of her or whatever. She was front row standing and she was watching me. This guy was 10 feet behind her yelling, fuck you. She did not turn around and walk to him. Her back was turned to him and she's facing me. So she didn't initiate going to this guy.
Right.
But if she did initiate it, it was only between the 11th and 14th time he yelled, fuck you, to me that she may have turned and told him to shut the fuck up, which I think not only would any daughter do, but I would argue any American. Mm-hmm. At a certain point, when a guy's yelling, fuck you, in the middle of a stand-up routine, that somebody at a table next to him would tell that person to stop yelling, fuck you.
I love that he couldn't take it anymore when you brought up Biden, but all the Down syndrome autistic jokes are fine. But Biden,
It's a
that
weird place
is
to draw
it.
a line.
He drew that line.
Well,
Fun of Biden.
Yeah, his real issue and the proof to Adam's point that he's very upset right now is right here. He says, but this election is the most important election, not only in Adam's life, but in the life of his daughter and any other children that he has. If Adam is a Trump supporter, then eventually he will get what he deserves as well.
Well, wait a minute. I'm not going in the gulag because Trump won.
Right?
Yeah.
His daughter and any other children that he has will also rue the day. However, he chose to cross a line at a place, in a time, and at a place and in a time.
This guy's 57.
Where everyone just wanted to have a good time.
He's white, Navajo white. He's a white middle-aged dude whose daughter goes to a college, and he's got a beard and he's wearing a sweater and stuff.
Partying with his daughter. He's like, you ruined this perfect day of me partying with my daughter at frat parties. Like, what's happening?
I'm telling you, there's a certain element of this culture that feels deputized to like settle everyone's hash. And what I want to always say to these people, it's, look, you don't like this person or you like that person, but keep in mind that the people who are on the other side dislike your person just as much as you dislike the other person. And as a matter of fact, that is now the majority of society, of our culture. So this thing of like you going like, what are you doing? Like, I like goobers because I like chocolate covered peanuts. Well, we like Raisinets. So what the fuck? And it's like, I don't know. I'm letting you eat Raisinets. I would like to eat goobers and not be judged. Well, knock it off. We're Raisinette folks. And it's like, people think differently than you. Is that okay? But I don't think it's okay.
Not for this guy. Not for this guy who's having a great time getting wasted doing keg stands with his daughter at a frat party.
There were a fair amount of
Body
parents
shots.
did keg stands.
I don't doubt it.
A fair amount. And when I say fair amount, I mean like 14.
Are you serious?
I'm talking 14. These were 50 years plus dads and moms doing keg stands.
One of my best friends from high school and my former roommate on DP was there this weekend as well, and he sent a picture of he's the cool dad, and it's not good to have. I don't know, but they were drinking this weekend. That's what happens when you get second generation. There's a lot more second generation Isla Vista rats these days. Can I wrap this up really quick?
Yeah, I want to know how it ended.
So we all left the party at the frat house. My daughter was in tears.
Yeah, but before we got this letter, Crystal's like, how'd the stand-up go? I'm like, went great. It's good. Nothing? Nobody pissed? No. Adoring crowd. Everyone loved it. Everyone had a great time. Then the next morning she opens up and goes, what's this? Oh, well, there's always going to be a couple of fucking bad apples in there. Right? It's always a couple. I'm not everyone's cup of tea, babe. Jesus Christ, what happened? I told you, don't do stand-up. I was like, God damn it. Fuck, I got by. I made it. I was free and clear.
My daughter was in tears.
And tears.
Her best friend was ready to kill Adam's daughter and would have literally beat the shit out of her in front of him had we not stopped her. So I wanted to point out to Adam,
the Biden jokes got him,
that it was a terrible performance way beneath him. He basically cleared out the entire party because of his ill-mannered and ill-timed jokes. Fame and fortune does not give you the right to be a complete asshole. And he still goes on.
I admire his spunk. Mm-hmm. It reminds me of a young me.
I like that he's saying that it was beneath you, as if he's actually giving you some praise, like some credit, like you're a good guy, like that was beneath you. Like he said that, so there is some part of him that likes you.
Yeah, I'll find that little ray of sunshine.
This is almost like a love letter, actually.
I like that the daughter was in tears.
I like that the other one wanted to beat the shit out of your daughter, and they had to stop this girl fight from happening.
Yeah, I think my daughter can scrap. By the way, I didn't see any ladies in there that could take her down. But all right.
This afternoon, Adam was a pretty self-righteous asshole. Although to cut him some slack, he had probably been drinking, so he really doesn't realize how big of an asshole many of us thought he was. I'm pretty sure he's never going to see this, and if he does, he should answer me personally. He is too talented, has too much of a presence to be sitting on the fence.
He does like
saying
you.
stupid shit in front of a bunch of drunk parents and children trying to have a good weekend in the face of the most important election of all our lives.
He's got Trump derangement syndrome. Oh, he's going out of his mind right now. He's going out of his fucking
But he
mind.
likes you. That's the thing.
I agree.
You
Look,
let him down.
this is like the boy who in the 6th grade would come pull little
Yes.
Jodi Miller's ponytail. You got cuties. He likes you.
I know. This guy likes you.
Oh, we got the Mark Cuban clip. What is that? What year is this from?
What's he wearing? Why is he wearing an Iron Man shirt? What's happening?
This is pre-2000, whatever the year is.
2016.
2016. Here we go.
Where does it go if, rates go higher or lower? And then there's the uncertainty of the election. I mean, I have my Trump hedge on. In the event Donald wins, I have no doubt in my mind the market tanks. And so I literally have put on a more than 100% hedge that I'll put on stronger if it looks like there's a better chance.
What does that mean? Donald Trump wins in November. What is Mark Cuban doing?
Mark Cuban, if the polls look like there's a decent chance that Donald could win, I'll put a huge hedge on that's over 100% of my equity positions and my bond position as well that protects me just in case he wins.
What's so horrible about that prospect?
I just think all the uncertainty. I mean, we don't know what Donald Trump's...
Genius Mark Cuban said he was going to tank the last time he won, and then he won, and then it didn't tank, which doesn't mean Mark Cuban's not wrong. It means he's wrong about everything, but some people miss. Mike August, Mark Cuban, all the greats.
But not this guy who wrote the letter.
No, that guy's dead nuts on.
He's so on, and you're better than that, and that was beneath you.
He's dead nuts on.
You've probably been drinking.
I realized, well, there was a keg stand or two. I realized that most attempts to make me feel bad amuse me, which maybe means I'm a sociopath. I don't know. But most all attempts, when people try to make me feel bad, I feel amused, mostly. But it's always because they screw up and they go, you know nothing, you've never done anything, and you got zero going for you. And I'm like, well, we're inside my warehouse, so I've got to do something, right? You're not yelling at me inside your warehouse, right? So they've done something.
That's fair.
Right?
Fair.
All right, Dawson, I think you got it, unless there's some more on that side.
Well, I mean, just to tag on to that, this guy was definitely a Biden supporter. The very next sentence he says is, "This shit isn't hyperbole."
Oh, yeah. He's got much bigger fish to fry right now emotionally than me and my comedy stylings. Jodi, I know you got a hard out. Yeah, you're going.
But let me just do this story because I want to know your opinion on this.
All right.
So, new LA DA, Donald Hochman. I'm sorry, Nathan Hochman. So he comes in and his first order of business is tackling the Eric and Lyle Menendez resentencing. Have you heard about this?
No, I have not.
So our previous DA, George Gaston, is that how I pronounce it?
Gaston, I guess. Yeah, I talked to Mark Garagos about this because he's representing them.
So
and that's
the previous
happening.
DA is the one who stopped prosecuting graffiti, by the way.
Yes.
And there's hopes that the new one will bring that back.
Okay, there you go. Well, anyway, he was suggesting that the Menendez brothers get a resentencing case right away, December 2nd, hit the ground running and getting them out, basically. Trying to resentence them to 50 years to life, and then we get out as time served because they've been there 35 years.
How long have they been there?
35 years.
Oh my God, that was quick.
Yeah.
For us, not for them, I'm sure.
Yeah. Yeah, Mark said there was a
35
Can you
years.
believe it was 35 years?
No.
Yeah. So now Hochman says he's got to review the case, obviously, and the law before coming to a decision. It's obviously the resentencing hearing is December 11th, so he's got a little bit of time, but he wants to obviously make sure he does his due diligence before he suggests anything. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that they deserve to get out?
I don't know enough about it to say. I know there's a new movie that people are saying is
the series, the Ryan Murphy series.
The series, I'm sorry.
No,
but that's basically paints the picture that the parents were absolutely horrible.
Yeah.
So.
And then there's new evidence that came out that they weren't allowed to use the kid from Menudo.
Yeah.
Also claimed that he was raped by Jose Menendez.
Yeah. So I talked to Garagos about it over the weekend for some time because I was trying to get a ride with him on his private jet to New York.
Yeah, there you go.
He said, fine.
It's beneath you. That is beneath you.
And he told me that
Disgusting.
he had a sentencing hearing on the 11th.
Oh,
and then after
yeah.
the 11th, we'll go to New York. Or he was going to go to New York. So I said, I'll go with you. So he also tells me every single time I talk about that I'm the reason he took this case, and he tells it when he gets interviewed that I'm the reason he took this case because of a joke I had about the Menendez brothers. He also told me not to say anything, but
you can just tell us too.
they are
It's just
going
us,
to
man.
be compensated for their story when they get out.
The Menendez brothers?
Yes, when people go like, what are they going to do, work at an In-N-Out burger or something? It's like, no. They're the sit down.
Yeah.
They shall be compensated for that sit down.
I'm not worried about that. I don't even know if they're going to get out. I think they are.
They're going to get out. They're going to get compensated. At some point, Mark will get them in here. I'm sure of it. Now, again, can't be the first one. That one you get compensated for, but later on, they'll end up making the rounds.
Wow.
And I've always said they should get out because they don't pose a threat to anybody.
That's what I was going to say. I don't think they're going to kill another set of parents.
No. So yes, they'll get out, and I've always wanted them out. They seem very rehabilitated and everything, and so I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
All right, Kira Soltanovich.
Yes.
You probably know. Very
love
funny
her.
comedian.
Yeah, great.
She's coming up, and we'll do a little. Wait a minute. Let's see. It's Kira just alone, right? She'll be next one-on-one right after this. Morgan and Morgan, life can be crazy sometimes, and one person's negligence can result in another's settlement. So let's hope that if anything happens to you, you get hold of Morgan and Morgan. If you're ever injured, check out our good friends Morgan and Morgan, America's largest injury law firm, over 100 offices nationwide and more than 1,000 lawyers. And as long as we're in the more department, more than 20 billion with a B dollars recovered for over 500,000 plus clients. Morgan and Morgan has a proven track record of fighting and getting you full and fair compensation. Going on the road, doing stand-up every weekend, well, that can be hard. But submitting an injury claim with Morgan & Morgan, that's easy. So go with Morgan & Morgan, right, Dawson?
If you're ever injured, you can check out Morgan & Morgan. Their fee is free unless they win. For more information, go to forthepeople.com/Adam or dial #law #529 from your cell phone. That's forthepeople.com/Adam or #law #529 from your cell. This is a paid advertisement.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. They're in the business of keeping your car on the road. They offer friendly, helpful service and parts and knowledge that you need to maintain all the repairs and keep your car running smoothly. I've always been a fan of O'Reilly. I remember when I lived up in La Crescenta in my rented house with all my roommates, and I'd work on my Isuzu Trooper, and then later on my Toyota Supra. And I would go up to the O'Reilly up on Foothill. And that's where I got all my know-how and I got all my parts. They've got thousands of parts and accessories in stock, either in the store or online, so you're never in a jam. The team at O'Reilly Auto Parts can test your battery for free, and they'll do it in or out of your car, so you can bring it in, or you don't have to pull it out of your car. They'll come out and do it in the parking lot. Need your windshield wipers replaced, brake light fix, quick service? They'll help you find the right part, or they'll point you to the nearest local repair shop for help. So whether you're a car aficionado or you're a novice, you get with O'Reilly Auto Parts. They're knowledgeable, they're helpful, and best of all, they are friendly, and you can do it online or you can go in. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit them at O'ReillyAuto.com/Adam. That's O'ReillyAuto.com/Adam.
What's the first thing you think of when you think of Russians? Just yell it out. What's the first thing?
Carolla Show.
Kira's back. Good to see you, my dear.
Good to see you.
She's got a date coming up, and I have a date coming up, and it may turn into a date. That is Big Bear Comedy Festival.
Take this ring off real quick.
That'll be Friday, November 15th. I'm going to be there as well. And
Are you doing the Saturday show as well?
I am going up on the 16th, I think. I'm just doing one night there. You're doing the 15th?
15th and 16th.
Oh, okay, you'll be there.
But you know what? I'm going to cancel on the 15th. What's the point if you're not there?
If I'm not going to be there?
I mean, the whole point is me going up there to see you.
And that's what I told my agent.
I saw you at the Kookaburra, and I had not seen you in a very long time.
Oh, yeah, the Kookaburra Lounge out in Hollywood here.
That was a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
My God, so funny.
Oh.
I have not seen you perform in probably pre-COVID.
Well, that's nice. I'm glad
funny.
You said that. I appreciate that.
So now I'm canceling the 15th. So just see me up in Big Bear on the 16th.
Yeah, I think Leno, who used to work with and for back in the day, was at the Kookaburra that night as well. Was he not?
Was he there that night? Yeah. I might have missed him, though, because I had another set. But
you took off before Leno got there.
I might have, yeah. But I saw you. But I've worked with Jay. We worked during COVID together. Mm-hmm. He had a game show. Mm-hmm. And I wrote some jokes on it. I was the announcer. During the height of the pandemic, I couldn't believe we were shooting. Everyone's like, yeah, it's fine. We just do a stool sample, and they check for your nose, and they do this, and pee in the cup, and we lick the back of your neck, and then you're fine. You go on set.
I know. And everyone's got to wear a mask on set unless they're snacking. Okay? But that's all right.
Very safe.
What we're going to do is we're going to insist everyone wear a mask, and then we're going to put card tables filled with snacks for these people to eat while we insist they wear a mask, except for those people are going to get handfuls of trail mix, and then they're going to pull the mask around their chin, and then they're going to eat the trail mix, you fucking scientists.
We weren't allowed to open doors. The PAs had to open like the stage door, so like if you're out in your trailer outside, and then the PA, because they have gloves.
We still do that around here. Adam has me open all the doors.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So it's kind of interesting, and I don't know if we can ever figure this out, but how much of this is based on something that would be effective, and then how much of it is just based on sort of an illusion of safety that satisfies mostly women, but a lot more guys than I would have been happy with several years ago. Like, there's so much of it is ritual, much of so many of the 7/8 of the products they're advertising for women about cleaning the house and scrubbing your hands and fruit wash and veggie wash.
Yes.
The bathroom. I'm always shamed by the bathroom door in the public bathrooms because now they got that foot pole. They got that piece of metal at the bottom. I'm supposed to take my foot. I don't have enough quad to get that door open. I can't defeat the pneumatic closer. Like, it's got a pneumatic closer. I don't got a lot of quad. I put my foot on the thing and I try to pull the door toward me. It doesn't even... More people have stubbed their toe on that thing and gotten tetanus than have actually opened the door. And by the way, because I can't touch the handle, because this thing's not spread through touch.
I had a woman at the Whole Foods bathroom just last week karate chop the door with her foot.
Oh.
So she wouldn't have to use the handle.
I love it.
Me and my kid.
Well, hold on. That's this. Now you're getting into mayhem. That was a front ball kick.
Was that a front kick? Yeah, or I do spinning back kick.
It was a heel contact to the handle that snaps, right?
An axe kick.
She had to axe?
She had
axe
to,
kick,
it was an axe kick.
Oh, because it wasn't just a push plate. It was an actual working doorknob.
It was one of those automatic ones, and it kicked back up, and she tried it a couple times, and then she used her toe to pull it out. And I was with my 9-year-old, and my daughter looked at her, and I go, she has a history with that door.
Oh, yeah.
And we just kept walking, and she laughed a little bit, and then she realized, she's making fun of my axe kick.
It's probably not even that door. She's probably abused by other doors.
Many
doors. And then that triggered her when she was at the Whole Foods.
PTS door.
Yeah.
So it's the kind of door that where you turn the handle, But then you have to turn it.
It's not a round handle.
No, it's a lever.
Right.
And 'cause I did the math on that.
Sure,
one.
yeah.
Because doing it with a round handle, Jackie Chan couldn't do it with a fucking round handle.
This woman was talented.
But she was going to turn it and push it, or turn it and pull it.
She turned it, and it kind of popped alive, and then used her toes to open the door. What happened to this woman? I don't understand. Like, I'm not a germaphobe, and I understand people that have the fear. I
hate them all.
But I don't understand, like, when does it end? Or was
It
this her
never
whole
ends.
life?
Never
Like,
ends.
if
They're
we're
going to be
for-
fucking Febrezing her coffin.
Listen, I have a issue with Febreze.
She's going to put that right in the will.
I
I
have-
need my coffin Febrezed.
People are going to have to close her coffin with their feet. That's what's scary and
Well,
sad.
here's what I hate about these people. Because I see people opening the door in the bathroom at the airport or wherever just to push, just to plate one. I call them Jackie Chan of the Chan of the can, where they've used their foot. And it's like, hey, douchebag, you just took your pee-riddled foot, your fecal and piss-riddled foot, and brought it up to the door where the normal people use their hand. And now I have the bathroom floor at LAX on the door.
Yes.
You placed it there, you fucking idiot.
Now, your kids are older now. You have adults.
Yes.
Right? But when they were younger, did you have, like, what did you do in public restrooms? Because you have a
with
daughter.
them.
My husband once FaceTimed me with, our daughter was probably 6 at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I just heard him, I answered, and I'm like, hello, I'm on the road somewhere. And he just kept saying, don't look at the penises, just avert your eyes. Because he had to take her into a men's restroom.
Yeah.
And she just kept commenting on, I guess, all the dongs that she was seeing.
A lot of dongs. Dong Central.
And he's like, don't touch anything. And I'm like, hello, Mike, are you there? And he's like, I need help. What do you do? What do I do? I go, you just be a human. It's okay. She's just a person. And he was flipping out about all the penises and the piss and the...
I learned from having boy-girl twins, and I never really studying women and their anatomy too closely, and I like to be down the hall when they're in the bathroom. That's not my thing, hanging out.
Right.
You know, what I learned from having a daughter, especially when she was like 4, and we'd be going on a hike, and she'd be like, I have to go to the bathroom. And I was trying to figure out a way for her not to get it all over.
Yeah.
Ferocity, man. Oh, that pee came out hard, man. I mean, that's a powerful muscle down there, man. I understand the ladies who shoot the ping pong ball across the bar now. Like this, not that I was thinking of that for her, per se. I mean, it's an option, but it's not.
She gets drafted.
Yeah. I'm not taking it off the table. I'm not forcing her. She'll do what she's going to do. But I was like, wow, that's a lot of power. But I have a thought. You travel a lot.
Yeah.
I've been in 1 million airports all across the country in the men's room, because your husband reminded me of this. They got that stupid koala table that was put in there.
Oh, yeah.
I've never seen anyone use, I've never seen a dude change.
We did cocaine off that thing all the time.
That's my joke.
Oh, my bad.
I was about to say, but I mean it. The best jokes are true. I said, more dudes have done coke off of that than changed their toddler's diaper. I said it to Joe 6 months ago. For sure, more dudes have done blow than have actually. I've never seen them changing a kid on that. And that's true. You did blow off of that?
Allegedly. The investigation is still ongoing.
Here's my next theory. Those weird lactating, mother breastfeeding, milking.
Those pods.
Oh,
wow. Yeah.
I think more guys have beat off
For sure.
in there than I've never seen a woman walk out with a newbie like in a fresh spot on her blouse or anything. I've never seen a woman walk in or out of one of those pods. I've never seen them.
Not once. And I've been in 1 million airports
And
as
you
well.
can go in there and lock that thing.
Yeah, for sure.
A lot of more.
They got great Wi-Fi in there.
More dudes rubbing it out. Yeah, more dudes rubbing one out in a pod, and more guys doing blow off the koala table.
I mean, I think that those, maybe they were created as this, like, hey, here's where you can change your baby, single dad, But really, they know. They must know. They must know. Like, well, also, if you need to, you can jerk off in here. It's dark. It's private.
It's the American way.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they're offering it as, like, untold, not really
As a wink,
spoken about.
a wink and a nod.
Speak easy, if you will. A jack easy.
I always whenever I hear something this way, I picture the Army surplus store with the personal massager back in the 70s, which is clearly a vibrator, and the illustration of the woman putting it on her shoulder. Like such relief.
It's like,
Wink.
Those are for knots in your traps.
Yeah.
I almost got killed by one of those bathrooms that are just in the street. Have you ever seen those?
A porta potty?
Not a porta potty.
Uh-oh.
They are a self-cleaning bathroom, and it almost murdered me.
Hold on.
When I was breastfeeding,
self-cleaning bathroom in the street.
Yeah, they have them
Where
in
at?
France. So
in Europe. Yeah.
No, but I grew up in San Francisco. They started putting them in the late 90s in the city.
All right,
They're self-cleaning.
All right, so we got the park bathroom, but that's not what you're talking about.
That's not what I'm talking about.
We got the porta potty. Then we got the one they were trying to build for like $2 million.
Yes, there we go. That's it right there. That's exactly it.
And this is one of those kind of European ideas that made it over here.
And I know that they exist in other parts of the country. I have seen them in, I believe, I want to say like Colorado, and like
they got to be in blue states. I don't
for sure.
I feel like this is a red state move here.
But it almost murdered me. I'm not exaggerating. I almost died inside of one of those.
It's like top rack dishwasher safe sort of situation.
Very close. No, you're very close. So I was in France at the time. I do pretty well, Adam. And I was in France, and you need a coin, right? You need a coin to use it. And we were walking around, and my husband and I, they don't let you use restrooms in restaurants. Like in the States, you walk into a Cheesecake Factory, you just head to the back, like you own the place, and you can use the bathroom.
Yeah.
They shut down in Europe. They're all siesta, they're all napping. They're very rude, of course, as we know. And so I tried to go in, and I couldn't. I had that horse piss building up inside of me. And I said, you know what? I see one of those. I've used one before in San Francisco. I run over. A woman comes out, and I start, hold the door, please. Hold it for me. I don't speak any French, but please. And she's looking at me like I'm insane. And I was
hold it because you can't get in.
Because I want to just run in and use it.
You don't have a coin. So what you're doing? Let me see if I can get this straight.
You're gonna.
I've done it before.
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying is equivalent to when you're pulling out of a parking garage and you don't have your ticket because you lost your ticket, and the guy before you puts the ticket in and the gate opens. If you get on it, if you bump draft him, you'll make it right under before that gate comes back down again. That's what you're trying to do with the door.
But I wasn't thinking of it in that terms. I just needed to pee.
I understand. It's a very intricate thought for someone who has to pee this badly.
Exactly
but you're trying to get in before the thing closes.
Before it closes.
And you don't have the change.
And I run in, and I'm so relieved, right? And I close the door. It locks. I don't even lock it.
Automatically.
It locks me in because now it's ready to clean itself. And and it's dark because why do the lights need to be on? There's no one in there.
Point.
And it just zha, and all
it's
the
spraying
chemicals
all over the place?
Spraying me. Spraying everything.
It's not just the toilet, huh?
They sprays the walls. Get cleaned. And I am trying to get out, and I'm banging on the door.
Let me out.
It's literally
I'm sorry, Kira. I can't do that.
It's like a bomb shelter door. It doesn't. My husband can't even hear me. And I was like, put a coin in. He goes, I don't have any coins. So he runs off to change a franc. And I'm just and he leaves me there, and I am drenched.
Wow.
Purple and green and yellow chemicals.
They blow out the whole place.
The whole thing gets cleaned.
But there is just a regular toilet in there as well?
It's a lovely place. You can breastfeed in there. You can snap one off in there. It's really nice. It's private.
May him do a little,
but
a little booger sugar in there?
It will try to murder you.
Powder?
You can do some coke. It will try to kill you if you go in when it's, self-cleaning.
Maybe it's one of those things where they get the word out and people like you talk and others don't try to jump the line.
That's why
you know what I mean?
I'm not here to promote Big Bear. I'm here to send a message to the world. This is a public service announcement.
You've written for Joan Rivers?
I did.
Oh, that's great.
How was that process?
Listen, every day I thought I'd be fired. Every single day. There were only 2 writers. It was a show called How'd You Get So Rich? And we went around the country asking millionaires, basically, like, you live in 20,000 square foot house. How did you get this house? And I sold those doggy, piddle pads or just some ridiculous random thing.
Yeah.
And the more crazy, the better. And my job was to write jokes for her, but there were only 2 of us. And every week, the other writer would get fired. And I just thought, that's it. It's me. I'm next. And I somehow survived it.
The death tournament, every week?
Every week.
Oh, wow.
I would meet a new writer. Oh, hey, how's it going? Oh, Steve, nice to meet you. And then I would know I won't see you next Monday.
Oh, wow.
Or it might be me. Like I knew that.
Well,
there was
either
a
way, you're not
possibility.
seeing each
We're
other.
not seeing each other next Monday.
Was it because of her?
Ultimately, Joan and I did finally get along.
Finally.
And I will say I was terrified of her the entire time for months, and we traveled together.
This is approximately how long before she passed?
This was in 2010 because I was pregnant with my first child. Mm-hmm. And I didn't tell anybody because you don't want to talk about it in the first trimester. Mm-hmm. So I kept it a secret, and I had morning sickness the whole time, and she was yelling at me. And one day I just yelled back, and I thought this might be my last day, but I was just so full of HGC or whatever the hormone is that's just pumping through your body, and I felt disgusting, and I just wanted to vomit every second. I just yelled at her, and after that we were really, really nice and close and fine. Joan, it was okay.
So this is 2010.
Yeah.
She passed in 2014. So it's been 10 years.
Can't believe it.
You know, it was a weird one. There's a counter up on the screen. Seems inaccurate to me, but you can look it up. I'll turn on the TV the other day. It's just like it was 1 year anniversary of Matthew Perry dying. I'm like, the Matthew Perry died 7 weeks ago. Get the fuck out of here. It's like it's been 1 year. It's like that year. By the way, when I was in school and hated every second of it, how come it didn't go by that fast? I could use some Matthew Perry years when I was in the 8th grade, sitting there failing every class and just sitting in a hot classroom, just staring at the clock, dying to get the fuck out of there. Now I'm having a good time. It's all sailing right past.
So fast.
So you work with Joan.
Yep.
She was a tough taskmaster.
One day she'd want me to whisper jokes in her ear. Mm-hmm. The next day she'd want me to write them on like a cue card. The next day she wanted me to pass her a note. Like it was all very, she's Joan. She had a certain way she wanted things done. So we would be shooting and she would look at me like, I need a joke right now. And I would go like whisper in her ear. Mm-hmm. And I guess they just obviously cut around that. But I didn't really know if she liked anything that I pitched. It was kind of hard to tell.
She was not gracious.
She ended up being very gracious, but I think at the beginning you're nervous. It's the first season of a show. Is this going to work out? Who are you? You know what I mean? I show up like, who are you? Why did they hire you? I have to prove myself. She has to probably feel like she has to prove herself. And she was a workhorse. She did not like to have any idle time.
Yeah.
We would shoot. She would fly on a red eye. From let's say we were in Vegas and we were shooting, she'd go to the East Coast, wake up there, do her QVC show, then do a show that night somewhere in Manhattan, then fly back to California. Like it was bananas. She was constantly working.
I know women keep... It always cracks me up because we go, women need to support other women. Women need to reach out and give them a hand up, and they all hate each other, which I love. I love that story. And they do the same thing with black community, like needs to reach out. Or if we just had a black mayor of Oakland, then our problems would be solved as a black. And it's like, it never works.
No.
There's no history of it. I'm not saying... There's not instances of women being good to other women and helping other women. There are many instances of men being good to women and helping women as well. I'm saying stop with the expectation. Like, she should understand as a woman in power and she should help empower other women. They don't do it. They oftentimes, I think the batting average is worse than a random dude. I think they see other women as competition. It's kind of like in their DNA or something.
And it starts young.
Yes.
It starts young. I see my daughter now, she's 9, and I see the other like neighborhood kids. We have 9-year-olds and 10-year-olds on our little cul-de-sac, and I watch them and I'm like, oh my God, I forgot that this was a thing at that age. There's a girl who's 10 who told my 9-year-old, you're flat-chested. You whore. Like, did you ever watch a kid be mean to your kid and just want to destroy that other kid?
Yeah, I don't have that gear as a parent.
Okay,
but I get where you're at. No, I like it.
You like it.
My daughter scrapped with a guy just very recently at a party, at a frat party. I was doing stand-up in.
Oh my God,
it was crazy. Oh God, it's a long story, but I'll tell you. It was like, parent day at the college, and so my daughter goes, why don't you come out? We're having this big mixer at the fraternity, and the guys want you to do stand up. And everyone looked at me and said, that's a bad idea.
Do it.
And I said, I'm doing it.
Oh God.
And then we showed up at the frat house, and people were doing like cake stands and getting loaded, and the parents were there too. And they were just bopping around, and it was daytime. And the people were just getting drunk and hanging out, and they're playing shitty music and stuff. And there's no stage, there's no microphone, there's no anything. So I'm there for like an hour and a half, 2 hours. And then at some point, the frat guy like comes up to me with my daughter and goes, you want to do stand-up? And I go, well, I would, but there's no microphone. And he goes, I can get a microphone. I'm like, how are you going to get a microphone? He goes, I'll get a mic. I go, okay, if you get a microphone, I'll do stand-up. And next thing you know, I'm standing on top of the bar in the backyard of a frat house. And there's like 40 or 50 drunken kids and 40 or 50 drunken parents. And the place is rowdy. So I go with the rowdy material. I don't go with the clean material. I go with the rowdy material. And some all woke, no joke douche dad is standing there in the middle.
All right.
Just some pussy.
The arbiter of comedy.
Oh, he definitely loves himself some Gavin Newsom. Starts yelling, fuck you, in the middle of the thing, right? It was crazy. And kept doing it. He just kept doing it. My daughter was like close to the stage, and this guy was behind her, like 8 or 5 feet. And at some point, he like went into her and said, your dad's an asshole or something. And then she turned around and told the guy to fuck off because it could go no other way. I didn't hear the exchange because I was like up on stage, but I was happy that she defended my honor.
But so you saw the opposite happen, which is great because she's an adult now. But I've seen in real time kids bully my kids. And I am not a good mom in the sense of I don't look at kids and go, well, they're all God's creatures and they're all beautiful. No, some are douchebags. And this kid is a dick. And I remember once my son was 8 and this kid was bullying him. And I go, hey, I saw him on the playground. And I looked at him and I go, and then I went like this.
Gave the throat slit for people who are
My husband
listening.
is like throwing me in the car. He's like, you will be arrested. You will go to jail. I go, he doesn't know what that means. I know. I feel a little bit better, but he doesn't know.
They outlawed that in the NFL. You can't do that.
You're done. And this kid backed away from my son, so it worked. But that's one thing I have zero tolerance for is all of this like super like gentle parenting that's out right now where everyone's like, you have to speak to your children like through your uterus. And I can't stand it because I'm not that mom at all.
Yeah.
I will
threaten death on an 8-year-old.
1,000%.
Cool. I'm with you. It's way too much coddling, way too much, guys going, oh, that's my best friend, and all this. Too many guys wearing bracelets. And then when I say to these pussies, why are you wearing all these fucking bracelets? They're like, well, my daughter made me this bracelet, so, I got to wear it. And I'm like, okay. So what if my son whittled me a butt plug? Would I have to shove it up my ass? tell
if you're a good dad.
You know,
if you're a good dad.
Let me tell you that super skinny drawer on the top of desks, that old time desk where you go, that drawer's too. What's that drawer for? It's for shit your kids made you that you don't want to put on.
Perfect size for a macaroni necklace.
Perfect.
Listen,
it was probably made initially, like the guy who invented the roll top desk was like, my fucking daughter's giving me too much shit. I don't have to be made fun of in the village.
You don't have to wear it. I get it. Like you put it on, thank you, sweetheart, and then you have to just slyly take it off.
Yeah.
And you just put it in that top desk drawer.
Way too many dads calling their son buddy or my best friend.
No. I took a positive parenting class, and I do a bit about this. I did take a positive parenting class where they tell you to talk to your friend and talk to your kid and say friend. And I said, absolutely not. Yeah. Absolutely not, because I don't wipe my friends' butts. Do you know what I mean? Anymore. I mean, look, we all went to college, but I won't call them friend. No, you're, I call you sweetheart. Then usually I say sweetheart when I'm like, sweetheart, I told you to fold your laundry.
Yeah,
my love.
The power structure doesn't work that way. I get it. Yeah.
No guest. I don't know.
What am I? What the hell am
I? Sorry.
Chopped
Christ.
liver.
What's happening?
No, well, we'll just trim this out. But Prager was going to be at 2:15, and he was like on the fly and whatever. So I thought, I just wanted to make sure he wasn't sitting in the lobby or anything. All right, so he's not rolled up. All right, we'll cut that out. Sorry.
I mean, I can go if you want.
No.
I've been kicked out before.
No. Yeah, parenting. Look, there's a thing. And I use the metaphor, I always go, diet and exercise. You know, people go, well, I'm on medication because I'm kind of depressed and I'm taking the Ozempic shot and I'm like, just diet and exercise. Just break a good sweat. Just jump in the ocean. Just take a fucking hike and just put some Wagner on and some classical music and just leave the house. Hit a heavy bag. You'll be gassed out. You won't need it's just diet and exercise. Well, I'm on the Jenny Craig deal. We got a wheel, so I can eat fudge sometimes, but it's a Jenny Craig fudge. And it's like, just diet and exercise. That's
now,
all.
What do you say diet? What do you mean by diet? Because now there are a lot of different ways that people...
I'm saying you understand, and I'm using it as a metaphor with the kids. Like, they just need parents.
Oh,
they
okay,
need parents. They need. Okay. I'm saying it's a metaphor.
Gotcha.
I'm not trying to talk about diet and exercise.
Gotcha.
I'm talking about the metaphor of kids need a dad, they need a mom, they need discipline, they need boundaries, they need to occasionally be locked or grounded in the room. If it's your thing, you can swat them on the behind. That's fine with me. It's not my style. Right. I'm not judging them, but it can be effective for getting them to stop doing shit. And they're not the boss, and they don't get a vote. It's just diet and exercise. It's just old school shit. We're way up in our heads with our fucking Ozempic parenting. You don't need it. You need diet, and you need exercise, and you need parents, and they need a dad who acts like a dad.
Right.
And they need a mom who acts like a mom, not one thing struggling with their pronouns.
Well, I believe in that as well. But these LA moms that I hang out with are extremely difficult. Like, I don't have time to make friends. I'm on the road, I'm traveling. So I only have LA moms to really hang out with, and I cannot tell you how just they cave in so easily. Look, I was hit as a kid. I'm an immigrant. My parents 100% believed in smacking me around too much, a little too much. It wasn't like, hey, stop doing that. It was like, let me see if I can end your life right now. So I would never hit my kids. Yes. But it definitely has backfired because I don't think they've been hitting kids for at least 20 years. So now we have the byproduct. I had a 20-year-old in my audience the other night who said words are violence.
Yes, perfect.
What?
Yes.
What happened to sticks and stones, you pussies?
Yes.
What happened? That's how I was raised. And you have to now, words are violence and everything you say can be triggering.
The self-esteem movement has backfired incredibly.
Horribly.
Because the self-esteem movement was based on trying to make people feel good about themselves without any achievements.
Right.
which is, it's real hard to hire that person, get them to clean out your bathroom when they're 19, when they feel like a queen or a prince.
Right.
And you're also not doing them any favors. You have to earn your self-esteem. I can't just bestow it upon you. And then you get into this weird world where it's like, all women are beautiful. All girl, every shape, everything. You know, Dove is going to come out with Dove is coming out with a campaign like all the women of the world are beautiful. No, listen, it's real simple. Forget about Dove or you explaining what beauty is. Let's just take a look at the last 13 people Leonardo DiCaprio was fucking.
Right.
Then we'll know what beautiful is. Or at least what our version of beautiful is, because that's just a dude who can fuck anything he wants. And he doesn't fuck the fat chicks from the Dove commercial. He gets the hotties. That's how it works. That is our definition of beauty. They try to convince us of a bunch of shit. And really the point is if you're morbidly obese, you are not beautiful. You need to lose some fucking weight, and it would be good for your health. So put down the sandwich, bitch.
But if you say that now, look, I think I don't know if anyone's too big to be canceled, but you're too big probably to be canceled, right? Because you got your own empire.
I don't work for anybody per se.
Exactly.
That's my thing.
But I am still cancelable. Very easily.
You want to work
cancelable.
for Melissa Rivers.
I don't think she would ever. But I'm saying, like, it's very easy, for me to say something and it's the wrong thing, and that's it.
And then you just go along with the orthodoxy, and that's how we all got butt-fucked by COVID. Because people are like, I don't want to get canceled. I want to get canceled. I'll just go along with whatever the bullshit is. I'll open the door with my foot.
I had a comic see me and my family riding bikes in Burbank. Here in Burbank.
Riding bikes.
Riding our bikes during COVID outside. We're all riding bikes.
Best thing you could have done during COVID.
This comic was in a mask, rollerblading past us. And he didn't recognize me. I had my glasses on. I had a baseball hat, right? And we weren't wearing masks because we're outside. And my 4-year-old is not going to wear a mask.
Right.
Good. It's like putting a mask on a parakeet. Like, what's insane. The point? And he said he was so just nasty to us, and he didn't know it was me. And I've never said anything to him because I can understand. Like, this is your thing. It's not my thing. But
so he didn't recognize you.
He didn't recognize me, but it was like, he was like, you're going to kill everyone's grandmother or something, like one of those like catchphrases that everyone was saying. We were riding our bikes past him outside.
I understand that.
But
he was rollerblading.
That's
why I said rollerblading.
Right.
With the Bane mask on.
With the mask on. I get it. Like, okay, that's your thing, but why can't I do what I think is best for us? And that's not riding our bikes with masks on. It's just... And they put a mask on the statues on this bike path, like the masks on statues.
Listen, these people need to be addressed.
I felt like a fraud because I didn't say anything because I was so worried that people really, truly thought I want to kill their grandmothers.
No one thought that. No one thought that.
Well,
all the people who did this were insane narcissists.
I think there's part of that. Sure,
it's all
there is part of that.
You have to be a narcissist. If you only a narcissist could approach strangers and tell them what to do. Look, there's a lot of narcissists, and it unlocked it.
Yes.
In a lot of people.
Yeah.
And they all like to virtue signal, and they all like to do all their worthless, sort of really. They were doing things that were not consequential. It was all symbolic, and they were signaling that way. And I hate all these people, and they scare me, and I like to shame them every fucking chance I get. So I do.
Do you ever get people, because obviously your crowd is going to know you, your fans are going to know you, but do you ever get people at your shows that they come up and they had no idea maybe what your stand-up or what your point of view is, and then they are just horrified and offended?
Well, there's one guy at a frat party started yelling at me to fuck off in the middle of my set. Yeah, he was horrified. He was offended. Yeah.
I don't think it happens that often.
Not that often, but it can.
Sure.
And it does. I had a guy at Kimmel's Club a few months ago just yelled, fuck you. Like in the middle. I wasn't even doing anything political. He just yelled, fuck you as loud as he could. And then he sat there. It was weird. And I asked him about it. And then he went, oh, he said something like, "Oh, am I allowed to talk now?" or something. And I was like, "Well, you just yelled fuck you as loud as you could in a club."
During a show.
Yeah. During a show. Yeah, it's weird times, but here's the point. You can't care. And I never do.
Yeah.
And it's part of how I grew up, and part of it is being a guy, you know, I think, and I used to teach boxing and stuff like that. I think if I felt physically threatened by the guy in the audience, it would change my point of view a little bit, or my, you know, the way I proceeded with the person. I don't jump in the crowd and try to fight them.
No.
I don't have a fear of them coming on to the stage and confronting me per se most of the time.
Well, tactically, you have the high ground.
I got the high ground. That's right.
Let's
All right,
hope.
Kira, let's give you a plug. Big Bear Comedy Festival. You're doing Friday and Saturday?
I am doing Friday and Saturday night.
This just says Friday, but we'll clean that up. Friday and Saturday. I'm doing Saturday, so my screen says. And I look forward. We'll do a shot of vodka after our performance.
Absolutely.
Thanks,
We'll
Kira.
do some Coke.
Prost.
I appreciate it.